Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hey, Roberters. Good Thursday evening. Hold on, let me make it so y'all can see me, because I got some things to tell you about. Let's see. There we go. There's my Roberters. Potato she'll be with us in just a second. But I wanted to come on and talk to you guys real quick about the latest of what's going on with the Nexstar debacle. So let's talk about that for a second. And then I have an unboxing to do because a very kind viewer sent me a Prezi. So, first off, I want to give a huge shout out to Rakeda Law. If you guys don't know who Rakeda Law is, you're going to want to know who Rakeda Law is because he's an angel from heaven. Nick Rakeda. And the angel in heaven was in my chat and sent me an email with his cell number. So whoever you are, you know who you are. Thank you. Thank you. So Nick Rakeda has assisted me and things are in the works. I can't talk about details, but I did want to give a huge shout out to Nick Rakeda. I think I'm saying it. Nick Rakeda. Rakeda Law. He is part of the LawTube community here on YouTube, and he is a lawyer in Minnesota. So if you guys could subscribe to him and show him much appreciation from J is for Justice for his assistance. Sharon Tuck from Canada, thank you so much. She gives purple hearts to Jay and all the Roberters. Roberter. So that is extremely good news. The LawTube community over there is an amazing community. They all have each other's back. They're nothing like the stuff you've seen here with like Summer Wells and the Watts case. When things get ugly, when Nick Rakeda got attacked by Law and Crime, so there's videos on his channel. He got a cease and desist from Law and Crime. Now, Dan Abrams owns Law and Crime, and he streamed the Rittenhouse trial. So Law and Crime sent him a cease and desist and told him that he was infringing on their copyright. Well, he didn't take it laying down. Thank God we have the LawTube community, because who else will help us YouTubers and who else understands? That was the biggest thing. Was I've talked to all these lawyers and stuff, and they don't understand because they don't understand YouTube. So it's like you're trying to explain YouTube and then also trying to explain the situation. So this was absolutely heaven sent. And I mean, I told him how grateful I was, but I just wanted to say it publicly. And I wanted you guys to know who is standing up and stepping up to the plate for the little guy here. And that would be Nick. So much respect to Nick. I appreciate it so much. So good things to come. Obviously, this is, a silver lining, because yesterday I felt like it was like doom and gloom. It's been like a roller coaster ride. But to see his videos with Law and Crime, so he got this cease and desist, and he went over it live, and then he had a lawyer that responded for him. And he reads through their responses, and they eventually said, you know what? They let it go. they went away because they didn't have a leg to stand on. And, he explains very well the fair use doctrine and how it's used. And honestly, I didn't do anything wrong. And they don't think that I can fight it. They know I can't fight it. They know I don't have the money to go up against a multi-billion-dollar company who owns 68% of the media. So I'm really grateful for this assistance, because at the very least, I think that at least, setting some kind of a precedence for what to expect and what, how we're supposed to do things and how we're going to have to do things is going to be very important. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for your support during this crazy time, because it's June 16th and I have to reply by the 30th. So it's literally crunch time. So I really appreciate it. And depending on the news that I get from the help that he has given me, I may have to crowdsource in order to fight this giant. So stand by. I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop. I'm trying to keep you guys in the loop with everything. So far I haven't had to do anything, because those other lawyers, it was out of their scope, so to speak. So thankfully, when that happened, I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? And then voila, I get this email from this angel from heaven, and they give me this text or this phone number, text him. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So he took my call right away. I mean, just the nicest guy, very down to earth. So yeah, definitely subscribe to Ricada Law. And before we get started on the Casey Anthony part 3, I have, like I said, an unboxing to do, because a really sweet viewer sent a gifty. And look it's in this pretty packaging. Look at, it's purple.
I'm so glad I made it in time for this. I'm so excited.
I know. So I'm dying. I have not peeked. Okay. Even though I wanted to.
That's some willpower.
I know, right?
I'm peeking through the top.
Well, I've seen like YouTubers that only unbox like once a month, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't do it. I'd be like chomping at the bit. It's like Christmas, It's like, oh my God. Because I'll get like an Amazon box and I'll be like, what did I order? Did I order something? And then I'll open it and I'll be like, oh, it's a gift. Like, that's so sweet. Okay. So Snow, this is from Snow. Oh shit, we're gonna have to play that song with these.
Yeah.
She got me the LED strip lights that move with music and talking and shit.
Oh,
how
wow,
badass.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Snow. I'm gonna play Informer on these. I know you can't hear it, Potato, so it's really awkward. That was really awkward. I'm just dancing, but they can hear it. And thank you so much, Snow. I think you're here. I think I saw you a minute ago. There she is. Thank you so much, Snow, the Informer. But she put a really nice note in here too. She said, I got you an Amazon wishlist gift. I picked a different one with 2 rolls. Oh, look. They go with an app and music syncing. My gosh, this is amazing. From Snow. Winter Moon Ray just became a Roberta. Welcome, Winter Moon Ray. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you, Happy Girl, as well. And Angie B. I always love the palm tree next to Angie B. Alley Cat Claus. Meow. I'm glad it reached me too. I was so worried when you said, oh, it got rejected. I was like, oh my God. I am going to wring their necks, because literally it was supposed to be so convenient to have this mail service. And it's like, I had 2 packages that were sent back to the owners. I was really sad. So hopefully that is straightened out now. Okay. So how are you, Miss Detective Potato?
I'm hot.
hot?
It's hot today.
Oh, it's hot here too. We are like having a heat wave over here.
Where we are here as well. And
Is
it's
it the
gonna be
whole
hot
world?
tomorrow.
Is the whole world on fire right now or what?
On fire!
We're on
Yeah,
fire.
I think so.
Mike Sanner just entered the room. Wait, I gotta find a sound bite for Mike Sanner. What do you think fits Mike Sanner? How about this?
I'm Rick James, bitch.
Yeah, that doesn't really fit. It was Rick James, but I don't know. I got to come up with one for Sanner. Welcome, Sanner. Hey, Krugman. Doohickey is in the house. Lots of Roberters. Look at that. We're a sea of green and blue.
Come to Arizona. No thanks.
So you don't look you look like you have a sweatshirt on.
Oh, I've got a t-shirt on.
Oh, okay. I
Hot.
thought you were wearing like a sweatshirt, and I'm like, dang, it's hot as hell here
No.
too.
It's so muggy as well. It's horrible.
Yeah. Hi, Shiri. Yeah, it's awful. So my house was up to 78. Like my AC can't keep up.
Oof.
I changed the filter and all that shiz, and it's like, oh, okay.
It's like 68 here, and I'm dying.
We will do that, Mike Sanner. He says, how about just a plain old fart?
McDo.
Whatever works.
Yeah, whatever. That's a typical guy sound,
That's
isn't
what
it?
you want.
Typical male sound. So yeah, welcome to part 3 of our Casey Anthony Rewind. Be kind and rewind. Doohickey, member for 4 months. She says, you have good karma coming, Jay. Woohoo! Thank you, Doohickey. Yeah, it's humid. Oh my gosh, Judy, it's too hot to be cutting grass. Yes, so it sounds like it's hot all across the country.
The world.
They're loud and beefy.
Burning.
So I heard you fed some pigeons, some big beefy
I
pigeons today. You did?
Yeah, so my daughter went to go and feed some ducks.
Yeah.
There were more pigeons than ducks.
I'm sure there were. In your neck of the woods, it's all beefy pigeons.
Yeah, so we spent the day with some pigeons.
Nice. Were they beefy?
That was
What'd you feed them?
Bread.
You feed them bread?
So if they're not beefy, they're gonna be now.
Right? Carbs. She filled up the big
Yeah.
beefy pigeons with
They'll
carbs
get some
today.
carbs.
So I washed my hair today, which is a big deal because, my hair it's not hard to wash. It's hard to dry. So it takes forever. And with the humidity, yikes, Ashley, forget about it.
Stays wet.
It just stays wet. Or I look like the Lion King, one of the two. Winter Moon Races. I was obsessed with this case. Well, let's get into it then. So today's first thing is going to be some of Casey's friends that she hung out with. So let's go ahead and Roberta. I just heard Roberta. Oh, Cousin Tracy. Hold up. Cousin Tracy, member for 7 months. I love you, Jay. I'm working. She's making me the most awesome cup. This girl is talented, y'all. Cousin
She's
Tracy.
amazing.
Oh my God. I will pull up some pictures so when we take a little break, I'll show you guys what she made for the Maligator, and the saying on it, was it not perfect? Did you see the backside?
Yeah, I did.
I was like, woo, she's got her pegged. And then I snapped. Maligator. It was awesome. So I'll show you guys pictures when we take a little break. But thank you so much, Tracy. I've been wanting one of those cups forever.
I can't wait to see it.
I
It sounds
know.
good.
They're so
good.
They're so cool. I love them. All right, so let's get started on this clip here. I don't remember this guy's name, so I'm sorry. I have to apologize. They'll say it when he takes the stand.
Work this out, else you'll be working according to my schedule, and I can guarantee you neither side will like it.
Ooh.
We'll be in 10-minute recess, and hopefully we can solve this problem.
I remember he didn't take no shit.
I can't see it.
Oh, hold on.
Let me see.
Neither can they.
Mine is-
Okay,
I'm over
Miss
here.
Brandy,
I'm over here just watching it by myself, like, do. You guys
just gotta
can
guess what's
yeah,
going on.
you can guess by my facial expressions what's going on. For the love. Okay, let's go back. Here we go. Now you shall see it.
Yeah, I can see it now.
And I remember this judge, he didn't take no shit at all. Like, there's another part on here that I'm going to play that he let them have it at the end of the day. Oh, my God. Okay. Here we go. Let's try that again. Take number 2.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Did you heed all of my previous admonitions while you were away for the evening? Okay, thank you very much. State may call the next witness.
Thank you very much. Your Honor, good morning. The state will call Cameron Campina. Raise your right hand.
Solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Cameron Campana, C-A-M-E-R-O-N, Campana, C-A-M-P-A-N-A.
May I inquire, sir? Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
If you would again, please introduce yourself to the jury and state your name.
Cameron Campana,
Mr. Campana, how old are you?
23 years old.
Do you currently live in the state of Florida?
No, I live in Cleveland, Ohio.
I'm sorry?
Cleveland, Ohio.
At some
He's
point,
like-
did you live in Florida?
Yes, I attended college in Orlando.
When did you attend college here in Orlando?
August 2007 to February 2009 at Full Sail University.
Can you tell the jury what Full Sail University is?
It's a media arts school. I attended for recording production of music and music business.
Is that a 2-year school or a 4-year school?
It's an accelerated pace. It's 1-year programs and for your associates and then a 10-month program for your bachelor's.
Mr. Campana, can I ask you to maybe speak up just a little bit?
Okay.
Thank you. How many years did you attend Full Sail?
2007 to 2009, about almost 3 years.
Did you graduate from Full Sail?
Yes, I graduated.
And what type of degree do you get from Full Sail?
Bachelor's of Science in Music Business.
What are you currently doing for a living?
I'm a club promoter for an entertainment company in Cleveland.
Is that in line with the education that you received?
Yes.
Back when you attended Full Sail, starting in August of 2000.
Casey's like, yeah, I gave him a lap
Sutton Place
dance one
Apartments.
night.
Do you know the address there?
3834.
Oh my
I forget which apartment number.
When you lived there, with whom did you live?
What was that?
Who did you live with?
Anthony Lazaro.
Let's talk a little bit about the apartment. How big was the apartment?
It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. I want to say it was about maybe 1,000 square feet altogether.
And when you first moved in, you lived with Tony Lazaro?
Yes.
At some point, did you have other roommates?
Yes. Roy House stayed with us briefly, and then Nathan Lesnowitz.
Let's talk about Mr. House first. When did Mr. House first start living in your apartment?
I believe it was November of 2007
And how long did he stay?
till about June 2008.
You said this was a 2-bedroom apartment?
Yes.
While Mr. House was staying with you, where did he sleep?
On the couch in the living room.
Was this a couch that pulled out into a bed?
No.
He just slept on the couch.
Yeah.
Mr. You also mentioned a Nathan Lesnowitz.
I wonder what that
When did he
sigh
live
was
with you
from
in
her.
this apartment?
It was
Did you see it?
towards the end of May.
I didn't.
She was like,
Around May 25th or 26th, he moved in.
she's like, cut his mic.
And how long did he stay?
Until our lease was up in August 2008.
So at one point, you had 4 men living in this apartment.
Yes.
What were the sleeping arrangements during this time? Where did everybody sleep?
Nate took the couch, and then Roy took the floor until he found his own apartment.
Was he looking for an apartment during this time?
Yes.
Objection. Relevancy.
Directing your attention to
I can't even
May
remember
and
who this
June,
guy is that they were talking
July
about.
of 2008. Can you tell the jury
Who,
what
this
your
guy?
school schedule was?
No, the other one.
We
Roy.
were on
Is
a
Roy
rapid
his name?
schedule. I was pretty much going to school either 9 to 5 or 1 to 9.
Wait, hold on.
The one who sleeps on the couch.
It changed every month.
It
Oh, I
changed
don't
every
know who
month.
that is, but I think he
Do you have any
testifies.
specific
Hold
recollection
on.
of what your hours?
I think he ends up testifying. What's his name?
Roy, I think. Was it? I know there's Nate. I know who he is, but I don't know who the other one is.
Tony Ricardo. I don't know. There's no names on this. I don't have the Google Doc pulled up where Heather had all the witnesses. Or no, I do. On my laptop right here. Looky here.
All organized.
State witness. Yeah, right. State witness list. So that would be. Is that Gerald Johnston?
No.
I'm lost.
I swear it was Roy something.
Roy, I don't know.
Roy House, that's it.
Oh,
Jackie,
Roy House.
13th juror's got it. Roy House.
Who is Roy House? A roommate? So they were all just crashed in this apartment.
I guess so.
Oh, and little Kaylee was hanging out over there with all these guys, partying probably, and
Yeah.
Lordy. Is it too fast on the faster speed? Because I feel like for time,
Not for me.
it
it's
works
not.
better. Okay.
No, it's fine.
School during the month of May of 2008.
I want to say 9 to 5. I know June was 1 to 9.
Okay. So
Approach.
may I continue, sir?
Just a second.
Thank you.
You may proceed.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Campana, going back to June of 2008, you believe your school schedule was 1 to 9.
Yes.
Did your classes or your education also entail you working in any way?
No.
So after you went to classes from 1 to 9, you were done.
Yes.
Do you recall Mr. Lesnowitz's school schedule during June of 2008?
I believe it was 9 to 5. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Did you take classes with him during this time?
We were on different schedules in different months because I'd taken time off and had to retake classes.
How about Mr. Lazaro?
We started at the same time, and
This is
he
even
never
not
had to
even
retake
relevant.
classes or anything, so he got ahead of me.
No,
But we were
It
on
really
different
isn't. I'm
schedules
gonna,
the
skip.
same months, usually.
This dude doesn't even matter.
Sir, did they're
Let's go
directing
to
your
the
attention
next
to
person.
The only thing that he says is that
They
that Kaylee never stayed overnight when Casey did.
is that what the whole point of his
That's
20
all he
minute?
said.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he said that Kaylee never stayed the night at Tony's.
Yeah. So where was she when?
Where did she
Casey
go
was staying?
then?
So then it means that it wasn't unusual to them for Casey to be there without Kaylee overnight.
Right.
So her story would make sense to them. That
Where
she'd
the
stayed
hell was
somewhere else.
Kaylee then?
Yeah, that was the norm.
Wed.
Very weird.
All right, let's watch this guy.
My name is Nathan Lesnowitz. N-A-T.
Oh yeah.
That's Nate.
That's Nate. Okay, and he's got quite the last name.
H-A-N-L-E-Z-N-I-E-W-I-C-Z.
Are you sure?
Just a whole bunch of letters.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
How are you?
Not too bad.
All right. Am I pronouncing your name correctly as Lesnowitz?
Lesnowitz.
Lesnowitz.
Just do that again.
Sorry about that.
Could you say that again, Mr. Rottenborn?
Say that again, Mr. Rottenborn.
Good morning, sir. Where do you currently live in Florida?
Yes, sir.
Where do you live?
I live in Fort Pierce.
How long have you lived there?
I grew up there, and I moved back about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Was there a time period where you lived in Orlando?
Yes, sir.
When did you live here in Orlando?
2007 to 2009.
Why?
I was going to school at Full Sail University.
All right. We heard a little bit about Full Sail, but what were you doing at Full Sail?
I was going to school for audio engineering.
For audio engineering?
Yep.
How long did you attend Full Sail?
For a year and a half.
So is he another DJ or whatever?
While you were at
I
Full
don't
Sail,
know
did
what
you
you
obtain any type of degree?
No, sir.
And can you tell the jury what you're doing now?
I currently play in a band called Kaya Vibe out of Vero Beach.
Oh
I
Lord.
play in a band. I'm a musician. Kaya
He
Vibe.
plays in a band.
What?
I play keyboard and percussion.
Did you also play in bands or while you were attending Full Sail?
Yes, sir.
While you were attending Full Sail, where did you live?
I lived at Sutton Place with Tony and Cameron.
Tony, what's his last name?
Lazaro
And-
and Cameron Campana.
When did you first start living with Mr. Lazaro?
The end of May in
Jesus.
2000 and
So
Wow.
he's another roomie.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't there for long, man.
Right. Jen,
before this all happened.
I got to pause because Jen, I don't want to mispronounce her name, but I probably will. Estelle, she says, "Hey Jay," she sent a super chat and she said, "Hey Jay, I've watched you forever, mostly low-key stalking. Fellow Michigander, and I hope you fight like hell." Thank you so much, Jen.
Yes. I love that low-key stalking.
I know, right?
I believe 2008.
All right. When you moved in with Mr. Lazaro, where did you sleep?
I slept on the couch.
Oh, he slept on the couch too.
How many couches did Tony have?
How long were you planning on staying?
About a month and a half until their lease ended. My original lease had ended, and then Tony and me and another gentleman were going to move into another apartment starting when Tony's lease ended there at Sutton Place.
So you were just kind of buying time until...
You're right, until Tony's lease was up.
All right. Did you attend classes with Mr. Lazaro?
Yes, I did.
During this time period?
Not during this time period, no.
During the time period of, let's go with the end of May, June, and July of 2008, do you recall what your school schedule was?
Oh my God,
I believe
who
my school
cares?
schedule for the month of June was 9 to 5.
You worked at university?
No, sir.
Did she ever talk about her work?
Every once in a while.
Okay. What would she tell you about her work?
The only thing that we had ever talked about was the a Batman premiere that was coming up when Batman first came out.
What about a Batman premiere?
That Universal was doing a premiere and that she could get some tickets for some of the other guys in the apartment there that were interested in going.
Okay. Were you interested in going?
If there was a ticket available, I would go.
Was there a ticket available?
Relevancy?
No, it goes to the defense.
Objection.
Other than that, would she ever complain about her work?
No, sir.
I believe you said that during this time period you were going to classes from 9 to 5.
Yes, sir.
While you were getting ready to go to school, did you ever observe the defendant getting ready to go to work?
She'd get ready. She would leave when we would leave in the morning. I just naturally assumed that was where she was heading, was to work.
And would you usually come straight home from your classes back to the apartment?
It all depends.
To your knowledge, did the defendant have a key to that apartment?
No, sir.
Were there times that you would come home from class or after your day that the defendant was there?
And the defendant was there?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you spend time alone with her while her boyfriend was
Yes,
out
sir.
of school or whatever?
Yes, sir.
All right. What did you guys do?
Hang out, watch TV.
Okay, let's let him look at the picture. I haven't seen it yet, and it's not published to the jury, so let's wait.
Oh, what just happened? I want to go back.
Did you ever do my laundry? No, sir.
Outside of the apartment, did you socialize with the defendant?
Yes, sir.
Where would that be?
Fusion Nightclub, mostly on Friday evenings.
What is Fusion Nightclub?
It's a restaurant bar on the eastern side of Orlando, there closer to UCF.
Were there any particular things going on Friday nights there?
Tony and Roy House and a couple of their friends had a production company, an event type company where they go around to various bars and clubs and promote events and just try to get people in the door and everything. So Friday nights they were working at Fusion.
Okay. How many times do you believe that you've been at Fusion with the defendant?
2 or 3 times, maybe.
Can we bring up the...
Objection to what? Well,
Yikes.
it's not been published to the jury.
Yeah,
Objection to the picture?
Oh my God.
Dude, that's him. And Jose's like, objection. And the judge goes to what?
Yeah. Oh my God.
To the fact that we don't want the jurors to see this.
Mm-mm.
Wow. She just got cozy with everybody.
All of his roommates.
Yikes.
Mm-mm.
What a hoe.
They're like, what did you do together? Just hang out?
Right. Watch movies.
Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay, let's let him look at the picture. I haven't seen it yet.
Jose's
It's
like,
not published to the jury, so let's wait.
Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I can't see it.
He's like, I can't see He's like, I don't know. I want to see it.
It doesn't come to your monitors.
Lord. I wonder when that was taken.
Probably that hot
Okay,
body
go ahead and
contest.
ask your question.
Thank you, sir. I'm showing you what's been marked for identification BS. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, sir.
What is that a picture of?
That is a picture of myself and Casey Anthony.
Okay. Do you recall on what date that photograph was taken?
I don't recall the exact date, no, sir.
Okay. Was there ever a time when you were at Fusion with the defendant that she participated in a contest?
Yes, sir.
What type of contest was that?
It was a hot body contest.
Bingo.
He objected.
Okay. Objection sustained unless you can put it in a date.
Well, that's what I was trying to work on, Judge.
Well, you need to work on it. Because he just said he doesn't remember the date, sir.
The dress that the defendant is wearing, can you see it in that picture?
Yes, sir.
Does that in any way help you determine on what date that picture might have been was taken?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'd been there a couple times up there, and I don't know exactly which date this was or which Friday this was.
Okay. Do you know where that photograph
He's
was
probably
taken?
like, we were
Yes, sir.
there so
And where was
much,
that
no, I
photograph
don't
taken?
remember.
At Fusion.
Was this during the month of June of 2008?
Was not relevant. As to that question, overruled.
You could ask for a sidebar.
Not at this point.
He's like,
Sure.
nope.
Was this picture
Shot down.
taken in June of
Sit down,
2008?
Baez.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, Jen Isley,
And
brothers.
does that picture appear to be a true and accurate representation of what you look like and what the defendant looked like in June of 2008?
Yes, sir.
All right, at this time, the state would move what's been marked for identification BS into evidence as states number 3, I believe.
Mr. Baez.
You would object relevance as well as
Relevance.
Okay.
you have further arguments that you will
Okay. You can approach.
Oh, Lord.
You may proceed. Objection overruled.
Thank you, Judge. Again, at this time, the state would move what's been previously marked for identification BS into evidence in states number 3.
It will be entered as evidence of a defense objection as states numbered.
Thank you. At this time, Your Honor, may I publish that
You
paper?
have a standing objection on all these issues simultaneously.
Okay. Based upon prior motions, you have a standing objection to this line of photographs. You may publish to the jury.
Thank you.
Look at those brows, though. Eyebrows on fleek. The fuck?
During the time that you were with the
The
defendant
fuck?
at Fusion, how would you describe her demeanor to the jury?
She always seemed like she was having a good time. I mean,
Oh, I'm
she's
sure she
not
did.
an introvert by any means. I mean, she's outgoing personality.
That's why
She
Baez
likes to
didn't
have a
want
good
him
time.
questioned on these pictures.
At
Yep.
any time that she was living
She was a
in
potty
your
girl.
apartment, did you ever see her distraught?
Ever see her? Excuse me.
Distraught,
No, sir.
depressed,
No, sir.
scared,
No, sir.
angry,
No, sir.
worried?
No, sir.
At any time that you knew Casey Anthony while she was living with you, did she ever tell you that her daughter was missing,
No, sir.
that her daughter had been kidnapped,
No, sir.
that while you were out at school, she was out looking for her?
No, sir.
Did she ever ask you for help in trying to find her?
No, sir.
Ooh, I can't wait for Cross on this guy.
Were you present at your apartment on July 15th of 2008?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jury what you and your roommates were doing in the early evening hours of that night?
The only ones home were me and Anthony Lazaro, and we were playing video games, sitting on the couch waiting for the All-Star game to start that evening.
Who else was home?
It was just me and Tony, and Casey Anthony was there.
What was the defendant doing while you guys were playing the video games?
I don't exactly remember. She was just kind of hanging out here and there, bouncing around. I don't know if she was doing laundry at the time or not, but she was just there hanging out.
Again, during this
house.
time
Where's her
period, was
daughter?
there anything about the defendant's demeanor
Exactly.
that gave you any concern whatsoever?
No, sir.
At some point, was there a knock on the door?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jury what happened when there was a knock on the door?
When there was first a knock at the door, Casey Anthony answered the door, and there was a blonde girl there that I did not recognize. At that point, Casey proceeded to step outside the apartment and close the door for a couple minutes. She returned back to the apartment, coming in, followed by, now I know to be her mother, Cindy Anthony, and also with Amy Huizinga.
Without going into any specifics about what was said, did you see the defendant come back into the apartment after she left with the blonde girl?
Yes.
Okay. What happened when she came back in with the blonde girl?
Blonde girl.
She came back in, and her and Cindy Anthony were in an argument, and Cindy Anthony had asked her to grab her things and to let's go, to which Casey Anthony had replied that she'll go outside and speak with her, but that she wasn't leaving.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Did she go outside?
Yes, sir.
Did she come back?
No, sir.
After she left with her mother, did you ever
Cindy
see
dragged her ass.
in person Casey Anthony again?
No, sir.
Did you
Probably
ever speak
by her
with her on
fucking
the phone?
hair.
No, sir.
At some point, did you meet her brother Lee?
Yes, sir.
Well, tell me how you were feeling when this happened. I mean, she's taken out. What was your thought process?
We were just kind of a little confused at the time. We didn't know what was going on. We just figured, it was something between her and her mother and her roommate, and just left it at that for the time being.
Okay. Were you worried about anything?
No, sir.
At some point, did you meet Lee Anthony?
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury approximately how long. I know you weren't looking at a watch, but approximately how long after the defendant had left that you met her brother?
Maybe, if I remember correctly, it was early evening when Casey left. It was probably mid to later evening. I'd say somewhere between 9 and midnight when Lee Anthony came by.
What can you tell the jury about his overall demeanor? What was his state?
Lee, at that point, it kind of felt bad for us a little bit. He said his sister was known to get into trouble here and there, and that he wished that he had met us prior so that he could warn us to.
What's the objection?
What?
Sustained.
What trouble did she get into
Talk about
before?
what anybody
Wait,
other than
what? Hold up.
The first time.
How does Lee know these guys? I'm confused. I didn't know Lee knew these guys.
No, me neither.
So Lee, okay, so wait a minute. So Cindy went over, retrieved Casey. We don't know what date this happened, right?
Was it the 15th or something?
Was it the 15th?
I can't remember.
Went and retrieved her, Cindy did, and Amy. And then after that, Lee comes by. What? All right, let's play that part again.
When after? Was that before Lee Anthony came over or after Lee Anthony came
Wait.
Before Lee came.
All right, hold on.
The first time law enforcement came, was that before Lee Anthony came over or after Lee Anthony came
Before Lee came over.
When the deputy came over, was anything, to your knowledge, given to him?
Yes, sir.
What was given to
Okay,
him?
so Lee went over there after law enforcement was called.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that maybe Lee just popped over there because the day that Cindy went over there and retrieved Casey, is that the day she called the police? She called 911? Yeah. That's all the same day. Mm-hmm. See, I guess I didn't realize that she went and retrieved her from Tony's. So Casey ran out of gas, left the car, ditched the car by the dumpster, and then just went back to Tony's, said, fuck it, just left it there.
Yeah, I think she got him or one of her friends to pick her up, didn't she?
Yeah.
No, back to Tony's.
And it wasn't Amy that picked her up, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, just wanted to get that straight.
Did you give that to law enforcement or did Tony give it to him?
Anthony Lazaro gave that. Tony Lazaro gave that to law enforcement.
At that time, did law enforcement question you about anything?
No, sir.
How long was law enforcement there that first time?
5 minutes, just long enough to collect the cell phone and to fill out a receipt form or some sort for it.
And then Lee came over.
Yes, sir.
At a subsequent time, I believe you testified, law enforcement came back.
Yes, sir.
How long after Lee had left did law enforcement come back?
I can't say exactly, maybe an hour or two.
By this time, were you aware, or were you made aware that no one had seen Kaylee for an extended period of time?
Yes, sir.
When the police came to your apartment the second time, what did they do while they were there?
They searched the apartment.
Did you have any problem with them searching the apartment?
No, sir.
How long were they there all in all?
Maybe 20, 25 minutes.
Did they take items with them?
I do not recall, sir.
While the defendant was staying with you on a daily basis in June and into July of 2008, did you ever see any article of clothing belonging to Kaylee Anthony?
No, sir.
Did you ever see any toys belonging to Kaylee Anthony?
No, sir.
So this was this guy's apartment, not Tony's? Is that what
I thought it was Tony's and he was just his roommate.
So did I. But he's questioning him like it's his apartment. Don't you think? Or am I just confused? So it kind of seems like he's...
I'm pretty sure it was Tony's and they were just his roommates.
Any stuffed animals belonging to Kaylee Anthony?
Not that I recall, sir, no.
Does Tony say, though, that Kaylee was
Thank
there
you.
a
I have no
lot?
further questions of the witness, Judge. Thank you.
I think she used to go around with her,
Approximate
but
length of your
not stay
cross-examination?
overnight.
Just not sleep over.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy didn't see
That's
her
why I'm
there.
asking you approximate length.
Ooh, the judge is really testy with
5 minutes.
Jose. Okay, so I just want to say
during that
this.
time.
Jose really got treated like, I've just noticed, like, the judge gets snippy with him. I'm going to put him on regular speed.
He's got no time for Mr. Baez.
He has no time for Mr. Baez. He really doesn't. He's really, really snappy with him.
Looking back at Casey's behavior,
Hold on.
Did they take items with them?
gave you. Thank you, sir. Mr. Lesnowitz, you saw Kaylee how many times?
2 to 3 times approximately.
Oh, that's it?
Did she appear hungry to you at any time?
No, sir.
Did she look well fed?
Yes, sir.
Well taken care of?
Yes, sir.
Was Casey attentive to her?
Yes, sir.
And did you ever see Casey strike her or yell at her or
No,
treat
sir.
her improperly?
No, sir.
And in fact, in your opinion, she was a good mother, from what you saw. I'll rephrase, Judge. I'll rephrase.
Okay, rephrase it.
Now, subsequent to where you are today, you found out, of course, that during that time that Casey was living with you, that Kaylee was no longer with us. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, looking back at Casey's behavior, there was absolutely no indication to you that Casey gave you that Kaylee was dead.
No, sir.
And there was no signs in any way, shape, or form as far as you and the outside world could see. Or
No,
as far
sir.
as you could see, I should say.
No, sir.
Now, Casey's car, where did she park the car when she lived with you?
In the parking lot.
Right next to your car?
Well, I mean, it's random as far as parking spaces go and who gets one, but typically we were all within a few parking spaces of each other. Yes, sir.
Okay. And she didn't park 50 yards away?
No, sir.
Where no other cars were parked?
No, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions, Judge.
That's it?
Any other questions of this witness, Mr. George? Okay.
No. Okay, bye, Felicia.
Sorry, Mr. George.
On to the next.
Sir, were you present on June 16, 2008 at Casey Anthony's home when Kaylee drowned in the pool?
No, sir.
No further questions.
Okay. Any other questions of this witness?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, sir, you may stand down.
Stand down.
Okay, members of the jury, we're going to take our Okay, we'll take a 15-minute recess until
so
you
funny.
finish.
All right, who's this guy now? Is this Tony?
Okay,
Roy House.
both. Just a second. Go ahead.
Roy House.
Oh, this is Roy.
Oh, he's Roy House. So who was the other one?
By Clint. CLINT.
I'm confused.
The guy with that was
Both sides, a rule of procedure has
Wait,
been
hold on.
invoked. Both sides will be responsible for advice.
Well, the one guy was the one with the really long last name. He was
Yeah, Nate.
Nate. And
Nate
then the
something.
first guy, I don't know what his name was.
No, I don't either.
This is Roy
Oh,
House.
the first one was Cameron Campara. Is that his name? But wasn't there another one?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm confused.
She doesn't know. She does
He
not
does
know.
No. In sync.
Hey, welcome all the Roberters in chat. Good to see you guys.
Advising their witnesses as to the rule, and the rule is expanded to include being able to look at electronic devices and listen to folks' testimony. So make sure you incorporate those things too.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
George, you may continue.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I'm trying to get to the cross exam.
Yes, sir.
Mr. House, how old are you?
25.
Do you
It looks
currently
like
live
it's
in
very
Florida?
short.
Yes, I do.
Where do you live in Florida?
Jacksonville, Florida.
I guess the roommates didn't really have much to
They
say.
both
No.
seemed happy with each other. She would, come over, cook dinner for everybody, clean up the apartment, do laundry.
Wow.
Tony was happy, and so was she.
Weird.
I wonder if she did all that
Did you,
stuff when she
in
was at
that brief
home
period of
with
time,
Kaylee.
ever see the defendant and
Probably
Tony
not.
fight?
Yeah, because Cindy
No.
would have done it, wouldn't she?
During this time period that she was basically living with you, did you ever notice the defendant be sad,
No,
angry,
no,
depressed,
no,
withdrawn?
no. She was still the same.
Did she appear exactly the same during this time period when she was living with you than when you first met her with Kaylee?
Yes,
No difference.
no different.
Were you at home on July 15th when the defendant's mother came over?
No, I was not. I had moved out by then.
All right, you were out.
Mhm.
After you had moved out,
Okay, then what
when
does he even know?
Play on the drums.
Do you get a percentage of the door?
Depends on what deal you have worked out with the club. It can range from anywhere from 100% of the door to half of the door to $2 a head for everybody that walks through.
What about drinks? Do you get any money off the alcohol?
No,
Okay, so it's just the door.
it's just the door. It's illegal.
I don't care about him. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, no.
I think it's
What's that got to do with anything? Who
Yeah.
cares?
Let's see who this chick is. It's all random people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she looks like she's a professional.
My name is Maria Kish, Kissh.
may I inquire, sir?
May I proceed?
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ms. Kish, correct?
Yes,
All right. Ms. Kish, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Are you still, or do you currently live in Central Florida?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell the jury what it is you do for a living?
I'm a sales manager
For a department store or
for a
retail
retail
chain?
company. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
A retail company. Yes, sir.
How long have you been doing that?
A little more than a year.
Can you tell the jury anything about your educational background?
Yes, I went to the University of Florida and majored in political science.
You graduated?
Yes, sir.
What year?
2007.
Back in, I want to draw your attention back to 2008. In 2008, were you employed?
Yes, I was.
What were you doing in 2008?
I was helping on a county campaign.
You were helping out on a campaign?
Jesus, Father God, Lord. A man who was running for a county office.
Was that a paying job or a volunteer job?
It was a paying job.
Did you hold that position in?
Oh my God, Laura W. I was thinking the same thing. I almost said that out loud and I stopped myself. I was like, who's that, Jodi Arias? I thought the same thing. She reminds me of her.
She kind of does.
Mm-hmm.
In May and June of 2000.
That makes it weird.
Back then,
It
what
does.
were your work hours?
They were pretty much traditional work hours, 9 to 5, sometimes a little bit later.
Oh, she kind of sounds like her now.
I know.
During this time period, do you recall where you lived in Orlando?
Yes.
What side of town?
I was living in Kissimmee at the time.
Kissimmee.
Mhm.
In Osceola County or Orange County?
Osceola County.
Creek Town, dude.
During this time period of May and June of 2008, did you know a person by the name of Clint House?
Yes.
Who was he at the time?
We were dating at the time.
When did you first start dating Mr. House?
Back in May.
And were you dating him throughout May and June of 2008?
Yes, sir.
What about July?
Yes, sir.
I wonder if she
At
hung
any
out
time
with
did
Casey.
the two of you live together?
Yeah, she did.
No, did not.
Oh.
One time.
Oh, yikes.
Directing your attention
Mike
to June
Sanner.
of 2008, did you meet Casey Anthony?
Yes, I did.
Where did you first meet Casey Anthony?
I don't recall exactly. I believe it was out somewhere.
Wasn't at somebody's apartment?
I believe it was like a party atmosphere. I can't recall whose house or anything, but.
Okay. How were you?
Maybe at the sign.
I was introduced through Clint. It was just the girl he was seeing at the time. That's how she was introduced.
That who was seeing at the time?
That Tony Lazaro was seeing at the time.
Had you already known Tony?
Yes.
Lazaro?
I'd met him several times, yes.
Did you know Nathan Lesnowitz?
Yes.
So you had known all these people, but Casey Anthony was a new person that you had met?
Right.
All right. When you met the defendant, did you also meet her daughter on that first time?
No, I did not.
At some point, did you meet her daughter?
Yes, I did.
Where do you recall meeting her daughter?
It was at Tony's apartment.
What do you recall about meeting her when you first arrived?
We're planting flowers. I had just gone over there to meet up with Clint and knocked on the door, and she answered the door.
Who answered the door?
Kaylee answered the door by herself.
Had you ever seen her before that time?
No, sir.
And
Kaylee
did you ask her
answered
who
the
she
door.
was, or what was your reaction upon this little child answering the door?
I knew who she was, and I just said, "Hi, how are you?"
And did you enter the apartment?
Yes, I did.
When you first walked into the apartment, did you see the defendant?
No, I didn't.
Did you have any idea where she was?
I assumed she was there, and later I saw she was just back in one of the rooms.
At some point, did you see Casey?
I did.
Where did you see her coming from?
From Tony's room.
How much time did you spend with Kaylee on that day?
Not very long. Maybe it was less than half an hour.
Why?
Did you spend any time with Kaylee during this time period?
I did.
How long?
Probably 15, 20 minutes.
During the time frame that you spent with her, was her mother, Casey, anywhere around?
She had, like I said, I'd seen her come out of the room. I'd seen her come out of the room for a minute. I can't remember for what. And then she went back.
Back where?
Back into Tony's room.
Into Tony's room?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
Sorry. Yes, back into Tony's room.
Thank you. Now, you obviously saw your boyfriend.
Yes,
Did you at some point leave?
we did.
What do you recall about getting ready to leave?
Clint was doing something else, and I ended up sitting out on the balcony of the apartment, and Kaylee was out there as well. And Clint came and got me and said that he was ready to go, and I felt uncomfortable.
Why?
Because I was on the balcony with her alone, and I didn't want to leave her out there alone.
Now, was this balcony screened?
Yes, it was.
All right. But did you still feel it was safe to be out there?
Objection on 4-3 with the strikes entire line.
No, it's relevant.
Approach. You may continue, Mr. George.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Kish, we left off with you and Kaylee on the balcony, and it was time for you to go?
Yes.
What happened after that?
Right around that time, everyone was getting ready to leave the apartment. Clint and I were going to go get dinner, and Tony, Kaylee, and Casey were going to leave as well. So Casey and Tony came.
Overrule at this point.
Casey and Tony came out, and Casey told Kaylee to get her shoes on because it was time for them to leave, and that was about it. And I saw Kaylee struggling to put on her shoes and socks, so I helped her put on her shoes and tie her shoelaces for her, and get her ready to leave the apartment.
Was Kaylee verbal with you? Was she speaking with you?
Yes, she was.
You said that you were all getting ready to leave the apartment. Did you all have plans to go out together?
Sustain, rephrase the question.
Was the plan for all of you to go out together?
No.
So you and your boyfriend were going out?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Sorry, sir. Thank you. After that visit, when you saw Kaylee, did you ever see her again?
No, sir.
During this time period, in June of 2008, how often were you over at your boyfriend's apartment?
2 to 3 times a week.
When you went over there, were those instances in which you stayed the night?
A few times I did.
A couple times.
Mhm. Yes.
When you were over there, do you recall a time when Casey Anthony was also over there?
I do.
Do you recall a time when Ms. Anthony was there all of the time?
Yes, I do.
How were you made aware of that? Or how did you become aware of that?
That she was there all the time?
Yes.
I would talk to Clint, and I would just be getting off work, and he would tell me that Casey had been there all day. And
Sustain.
Were there times, you said you worked 9 to 5.
Yes, sir.
After work, would you have the occasion to go over your boyfriend's apartment?
Yes.
Was the defendant there?
Yes.
When you stayed for dinner, was the defendant there?
Yes, sir.
How would you describe your relationship with the defendant? Would you consider yourself friends or acquaintances or what?
It was, I guess it was just, we saw each other several times because Tony and Clint were living together, and she was over there, and so I was over there. It wasn't, we didn't have a friendship, but it was just, I guess, an acquaintance.
Okay. Were you polite to one another?
Yes, sir.
You weren't you didn't get into arguments with her, did you?
No, never.
Did you ever tell her about your work and what you did?
I can't recall.
Did she ever tell you about her work?
Yes, she did.
What did she tell you about her work?
She said she worked for Universal as an event planner.
Did she ever give you any other detail other than event planner?
No, sir.
Did she ever tell you what her hours were?
Not that I can remember.
I'm sorry, can you say yes or no?
Not that I can remember, no.
Did you ever see any type of identification on the defendant from Universal Studios?
No, sir.
Did you ever question that she actually worked at Universal Studios?
No, sir.
Other than the apartment, did you have the occasion to spend time
This guy
with
kinda
the defendant
sucks.
outside of the apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm kind of seeing why Jose won, because this dude sucks.
Yeah, and that's what the jury said as well. They just weren't likable. And they were cold and just not.
There's
they
no
couldn't relate to them.
personality. Yeah, it's really bad. Okay, let's fast forward to Jose, because that dude he loses
I think it's
me.
interesting what she's been saying though, because it sounds like Casey wasn't doing anything with Kaylee at all.
It doesn't, but
She was staying in the room with Tony, and Kaylee was just left wandering around that apartment to open doors at 2 years old.
But I was thinking about that. If she was only with her for what'd she say, 15, 20 minutes? What if Casey was getting ready and in and out, you know what I mean?
But still, to open the door though to an apartment, anyone could have been at that door.
True. And she didn't say that Kaylee or Casey ran out and said no, Yeah,
no.
It sounds like
she just kind of stuck her head out of the room and went back in and left Kaylee with her.
Yeah.
And then not helping her put her
what?
shoes and stuff on either. She had to help Kaylee put her shoes on. Casey didn't do that.
I think another thing that hurt them too is that they're the only people they're having, besides, I mean, we haven't watched her friends, Amy and whoever, but these guys, oh, was she a good mom? What do these 20-year-old guys know about if she's a good mom or not? They weren't paying attention to that.
No.
They were playing video games and shit.
And getting ready to go out.
And she was cooking them dinner and doing their laundry and whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't think that those are really strong character witnesses to her parenting. Are a bunch of barfly guys. I just don't. I don't think that works in the prosecution's favor.
Well, it definitely didn't.
Usually just involved going out at night to a bar or club, or just grabbing a bite to eat.
Did you have the opportunity
Welcome,
to
Laura
see
W.
the defendant and Tony Tony Lazaro together?
Yes.
As a couple, what were your observations of them as a couple?
Judge, calling for an opinion.
Asking for observations, Your Honor. Not an opinion.
Judge, I don't believe she's a therapist of any kind to be giving opinions on.
Based upon that objection, the objection will be overruled.
Thank you. That means you can answer the question. What did you observe about their relationship?
That they got along well, and they were casually dating, and it seemed to be beneficial for Tony.
I'm sorry?
It seemed to be beneficial for Tony.
I thought she said unofficial.
Did they appear to genuinely like each other?
I believe so.
I'm sorry?
I believe so, yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Kish. I'm having a little hard time hearing you. If I could just ask you to speak up nice and loud into the mic, okay?
I'm sorry, allergies, and they're acting up.
The time that you spent with
what did she
the
say?
defendant and Mr. Lazaro, did you ever see them argue?
Oh, jeez.
Do you know what Fusion is?
Yes, I do.
What is Fusion?
It is a restaurant/nightclub.
Have you had the occasion to be at Fusion with your boyfriend and the defendant?
Yes, sir.
What type of things happened? How many times have you been at Fusion with the defendant?
One time.
Tell the jury what happens at these.
He seems very
Is there a show?
unprepared.
Yeah, I was just thinking that
What
it's
is
like fumbling over his words.
The time I went
reminds me of Elaine.
with the defendant, it
Yeah.
was
Sure. Do you recall the date in which you went to Fusion with the defendant?
it was June 20th.
How do you know it was June 20th? Because I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because I remember it was that Friday, and I met up with everybody that night, and there was a hot body contest that night.
God.
She didn't want to say that.
How embarrassing.
What time did you go to Fusion with your boyfriend, or did you meet everybody there?
I met everybody there.
God, was she in it too?
I think so.
What do you recall about the hot body contest?
Check to the relatives, Judge.
Relatives.
Right. Did
Of course you don't want to
you
talk about
witness the
that.
hot body contest?
Yes, sir.
Did the defendant participate in the hot body contest?
Yes, sir.
Oh God, is that the one
Do
that
you recall,
Casey's grinding in
what-
the pictures?
Oh, I
The defendant was wearing on
Yikes.
June 20th, 2008, during the hot body contest.
Yeah, she was wearing a just a thin knit dress.
Do you recall the color?
Ashley, nobody
It was
said
a bluish
Yikes,
color.
he hasn't come home, Ashley.
This dude sucks, man.
Mm-hmm. He's really hard to listen to.
We're on fast speed too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, I need help. Wow.
Too many buttons up here.
Too many buttons up here.
What?
I'm showing you what's been, I believe, entered into evidence of state's number. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, this is number 2. Number 3. Do you recognize?
Let me
the
tell
people
you
in that
something
photograph?
else.
I do.
Who's in that photograph?
On the left is Casey Anthony, and on the right is
My
Nathan
boyfriend.
Lesnowitz.
Oh no, that's not her boyfriend.
That's not.
Do you
That's
recall
Grishkovich.
Nathan being at Fusion when you were at Fusion on June 20th,
Yes.
2008? Based upon that dress or that outfit that Ms. Anthony appears to be wearing, does that appear to be an accurate representation of what the defendant looked like and what she was wearing on June 20th of 2008?
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
Did you participate in the contest?
No, sir, I did not.
Oh, she didn't.
Didn't.
JD, it's
Your Honor,
you have to
may
stand
I
down.
republish this to the jury one more time just for a brief period of time?
You might.
Thank you.
What is this? Casey?
Clerk. Case publishing states number 3.
God, how many times do we have to see this? Ooh, she's not loving this.
She
Do
knows
you
what
recall
pictures are coming, so
the defendant having any role to play at Fusion on this night other than participating in the hot body contest?
Yes, I do.
Overall?
What did you understand the defendant's role to be on this night?
She was in charge of the shop girls.
Did you see her actually interacting with the shop girls?
I did.
Did you actually hear her talking to them about what they were supposed to do or not supposed to do?
I did.
Did you hear her discussing their attire or what they should wear?
I can't remember. She specifically discussed that.
During this time period, was there anything about the defendant's demeanor that alarmed you?
No.
Did
Interesting.
you ever appear
Hold on.
angry
No.
or upset?
Okay, so Laura W. had a good question in chat. So she's like, why did he ask her if she participated in the hot body contest? Why is that relevant?
True.
Good question. I think because she did not, it makes her look more credible to the jury, like she's not the hoe like Casey was that entered the contest. I think that's all that was. Because why else would the prosecution ask her that?
Yeah, it's true. So was she working at Fusion then?
She was in charge of the shot girls that night, so she...
Does that mean she was working there?
I don't know.
Because maybe that's how she was getting her money.
Or was she being paid in drinks? I don't know.
No, sir.
I'm sorry?
No, sir, she did not.
Wait, do you think that it's possible? Because if they're saying, like, these guys are like, oh, no, like, Kaylee wasn't there. She was there, but Kaylee wasn't. Do you think that she did this drugging previously and it worked out for her?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
So that was just like a failed attempt at something she had already done? Because I don't think that would be the first time. Because like we talked about, it's such a weird day for her to do that, especially for the first time.
If you've been doing something for a long time as well, you build up like a tolerance to it. So maybe it wasn't working as well as it was before.
And she was giving her
a little
more.
bit too much.
Yeah.
Because if they hadn't seen her overnight, then where was she on those nights?
That's what I'm saying. So did Casey always have her own car then?
I guess so.
So she would drive over to Tony's with her car. I wonder if that baby was in that car.
I think it's very possible.
Unbelievable, man. Because that couldn't have been the first time she tried to do something, you know?
On June 20th, 2008 until it closed?
Yes.
Where did you stay that night?
I stayed at their apartment that night.
Okay. Did you see the defendant the next morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where do you recall seeing her?
In the kitchen of the apartment.
Was this in the morning or the afternoon?
It was in the morning.
Overrule at this point, but let's get there, Mr. George.
Yes, sir. Did you have a discussion with her that morning?
I did.
What did you talk about?
I asked her where Kaylee was.
And what did she tell you?
She told me that she was spending the weekend at the beach with the nanny.
When she said the nanny, did she give you a name?
No, sir.
Did she tell you anything about her financial relationship with the nanny?
Yes.
What did she tell you?
She told me that she paid the nanny $400 a week.
What?
$400 a week.
Yes, sir.
A week?
That's a lot.
It's a lot for someone who didn't really have a job at university.
Right.
Did you inquire?
I'd be like, what?
Did you ask the defendant anything about Kaylee's dad?
Approach. You may proceed. Objection overruled.
Thank you. Do you remember the question?
I'm sorry, I don't.
That's okay. Did you have any discussions with the defendant about Kaylee's dad?
Yes, I did.
What, if anything, did the defendant tell you about Kaylee's dad?
She told me that he was deceased.
What, if anything?
She doesn't seem nervous, though. It's weird, kind of strange.
Now,
I would have been
you
nervous.
You were
as hell.
aware
This was
that
me.
Ms. Anthony was staying at the
me too.
apartment, correct?
Yes.
Sustain.
Did you have a discussion with the defendant about her living situation?
Yes, I did.
What did she tell you what her living situation was?
That she was going to move into her parents' house. They were moving out and giving the house to her.
To her?
To her, yes, and Kaylee.
What? This girl was in La La Land.
Did she tell you when she was planning on moving into the house that her parents had left?
She didn't give an exact time. It was within the next couple months.
Wow.
Did Casey Anthony ever tell you that her daughter was missing?
No, sir.
Did she ever tell you that her daughter was kidnapped?
No, sir.
Did she ever tell you that she was out looking for her?
No, sir.
Did she ever ask you for help?
No.
The times that you knew, for the weeks that you spent acquainted with Ms. Anthony, did you ever have the occasion to ride in her car?
Yes, sir.
When was that?
I can't remember the exact date.
Was it while she was staying with Clinton and those guys, or was it before?
Those guys.
It was while she was staying with.
Other than that, did you ever go in the car?
No.
God,
When
get
you were
on with
in
it,
the
dude.
car, who were you with?
It was with Casey, obviously, Tony, and Clint.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, come on.
Cross-examination.
Bring it.
Good morning, man.
Good morning.
Where did you go when you in the car?
I believe we just went to get something to eat.
And Casey drove?
I can't remember who drove. It was either Casey or Tony.
And you sat in the passenger side or in the back?
I sat in the back seat.
Okay. And when you sat in the back seat, did you smell any foul odor?
No, sir.
And Clint was with you in the back seat?
Yes.
And did Clint say, "Well, something stinks back here," or anything like that?
No, sir.
And what about Tony? Did he say, "Boy, this car stinks"?
No, sir.
When was this car ride?
Now,
I don't know.
you mentioned that you didn't have a friendship with Casey.
Correct.
You weren't friends in any way.
No, we were acquaintances.
And this thin blue dress that she was wearing, well, I'll strike that. Now, you didn't like her being over at the house, did you?
It didn't bother me personally.
Yeah, right.
Your boyfriend lived at the house.
Correct.
And Casey was living at the same house as your boyfriend.
Correct.
And it struck you odd that she was there all the time.
Yes, sir.
And in fact, you mentioned that you would call your boyfriend and she was there.
Yes.
And that didn't bother you at all.
That she was at the house.
She was spending all this time where your boyfriend was.
No, it didn't bother me at all.
And
I don't believe it. I don't believe
this
that.
is someone, of course, that you had no friendship with, and that didn't bother you in any way, shape, or form.
No, sir.
I'm sorry?
No, sir, it didn't. She was dating Tony.
Okay, may the witness be excused? Okay, thank you, ma'am. You may be excused.
Thank God. Goodbye, lady. She was like nothing, really. I mean, in the beginning it was good, but
The only thing she was there for was to testify about the hot body contest. And
yep.
stuff.
She's the one with the morals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that concludes that part. Now we have one more, if you're down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You're so sweet potato. Okay, did someone just join? No. It's just me and you, kid.
Roberta.
Okay, hold up. Let's get this other one back up. So this one is going to be, I have names for this one. No, I don't. Nope. I don't have names until you pick up and start doing your links. You're all detailed. Yeah, mine just has the minute marks.
Just the timestamps.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so this one is going to be two of Casey's ex-boyfriends, but I don't know their names.
I'm guessing Tony will be one.
Tony is probably one. Now, where did it go? Are you guys enjoying this rewind? Roberta rewind? Oh yeah, this is Tony. I watched some of this earlier. I was picking up timestamps so we don't have to watch the whole thing. Because it's pretty long.
20 more minutes.
Okay, so we're going to start this one at 8 minutes in. Why 8 minutes?
Is it just Tony then?
No. Mm-mm.
Who's the other dude?
That is someone else. Hold on. 8 minutes. So we're starting in at 8 minutes, and then we're going to... Okay, then 38. So let's start here. We'll find out who he is. We gonna find out right now. Look at the judge.
I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it. Jay's got to share. I can't be selfish now.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Okay, here we go. Now you can see him.
Yep.
I loved him during this trial. I thought he was so funny.
He is funny. I like how he doesn't like bias.
You do? I wonder what the prosecution thought when, like, Baez took the case. If they thought, we got this in the bag.
You probably did, seeing as he was like a nobody.
I know, so I'm thinking. I think they underestimated him.
Definitely. Yeah, that's probably why they didn't put a lot of work into it. They're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of just thought they had it, it seems like. But hi, Auntie Cheryl. I wanted to say hi to you. Hi, Shell. I'm trying to think. There was someone else that I saw. Remy. Hi, Remy.
State may call their next witness.
Thank you, Judge. At this time, the state will call Brian Berner.
Brian.
Who?
Oh, Ryan. Burner, something. His name's Ryan. I can't remember who he is, but
I can't remember who he is.
Sorry, folks. Park's closed. I had to do it. Oh shit.
Oh god.
Brian Berner, B-U-R-N-E-R.
May I inquire? Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Berner, where do you live?
Orlando, Florida.
Okay. Do you know George and Cindy Anthony?
I do.
How do you
he's
know
the
them?
neighbor.
Neighbors.
Okay. When you say neighbors, where do they live in proximity to your home?
I guess to the one house to the south of me.
Okay. So they are your next door neighbors.
Correct.
When did you move into the home where you currently reside?
2005.
When you moved in, were the Anthonys already living there?
Yes.
You've met George Anthony?
Yes.
Cindy Anthony?
Yes.
When you first moved in, Casey Anthony was living there?
Yes.
How about Lee Anthony?
I don't recall of Lee. He may have been there. I'm not for sure.
Have you met Lee Anthony?
Yes.
All right. How would you describe your, for lack of a better term, relationship with the Anthonys?
Just cordial neighbors.
Were you friends with them?
Yeah, on brief occasions, just cordially.
Did you ever go over to their house for dinner?
No.
Did they ever come over to yours?
No.
So other than just briefly saying hello from time to time, would that be about the extent of it?
Correct.
Do you work, sir?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
I'm a truck driver.
How long have you been truck driving?
Almost 24 years.
In your home, who lives with you?
My wife, 2 sons, and a daughter.
How old are your sons?
21, 16, and my daughter's 10.
To your knowledge, are any of your children good friends or friends with either Lee Anthony or Casey Anthony?
No.
Directing your attention, sir, to the week around June 15th, 16th of 2008, were you still living in your home at that time?
Yes.
Do you recall anything going on in your life around this time?
No.
Do you take a vacation?
I did.
Did you take a vacation in June of 2008?
Yes.
All right. When did you return home?
This evening of the 16th.
Were you scheduled to go back to work the following day?
No, I was not.
When were you scheduled to go back to work?
The following Monday, so I was off the entire week.
All right. So were you at home on June 17th?
Yes.
During the day on June 17th, did you have the occasion to see Casey Anthony?
I saw Casey's vehicle.
Okay. What can you tell the jury about what you saw?
It was backing into the garage.
What type of car are we talking about?
White Sunfire, I believe it is.
Have you actually seen Ms. Anthony drive that car before?
Yes.
Are you familiar with anybody else driving that car during this time period?
No.
When you saw the car backing into the driveway, were you inside your home or outside your home?
Inside.
So I take it you saw her through a window?
Correct.
All right. Did you leave your house at that point?
No.
Do you know whether or not the car was pulled back into the garage or just into the driveway?
Into the garage.
How do you know that?
Because I could see the front edge of the garage from our window.
Everybody's cracking me up. They're calling him the Nate of this case. They're saying he was Nate before there was a Nate.
Nate the
In
neighbor.
any way odd or strange to you?
No.
Have you seen this particular car being backed into the driveway before?
Not until that first day.
Upon seeing the car going into the garage, did you do anything? Did you leave your home to see what was going on?
No.
Do you know how long the car was there?
I do not.
So I take it by your answer that you have no recollection of the car leaving the house.
Correct.
Were you also at home on the 18th?
Yes.
What were you doing on the 18th?
Afternoon, was doing yard work outside.
Mowing, edging, that type of thing?
Correct.
Was anybody else outside with you?
No.
While you were doing your yard work on the 18th, did you see or happen to see the defendant, Kaylee Anthony?
She approached me later in the afternoon.
Do you have any idea about what time this was?
1:20, 1:30.
She approached you?
Correct.
Hi,
And
neighbor,
why did
can
she
I borrow
approach
a shovel?
She said she wanted to borrow a shovel to dig up a bamboo root.
Bamboo root? Does Kaylee Anthony usually do landscaping?
Sir, can you see what's on a monitor there?
Yes.
All right. I'm showing what's been marked for identification AI. First of all, I'll ask you if you recognize the room that we're looking at.
Yes.
What is that?
That's my garage.
Also, contained within that picture, do you see a shovel?
I do.
Is that your shovel?
Yes.
Is that the shovel that you loaned to Kaylee Anthony?
Yes.
And is that a fair and accurate picture of your shovel?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, the state would move what's been previously marked for identification AI into evidence as, I believe, states number 4.
But she wasn't buried.
See, he said
Madam,
that
previous
he saw her
objections.
back in her
Objection will
car
be
into the
overruled.
garage.
Do what?
He said that he saw her back in the car into the garage on the 17th, and then on the 18th, she asked to borrow the shovel. I thought those two things happened on the same day,
Weird.
but clearly they didn't.
So she told him that she had to dig up a bamboo root?
And she told him she was digging up a root. Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Will it be received in evidence?
I just can't see Casey hung over
You lost me at the
digging up
end.
roots.
Note in previous objections, they will be overruled and entered into evidence as
Your Honor, at this time, I publish the photo.
you may.
When Ms. Anthony first approached you regarding borrowing the shovel, where were you?
I was in the street blowing off grass clippings.
Did you see from where the defendant came from?
No.
Do you recall what she was wearing?
No, I do not.
Thank God.
Had she ever asked to borrow anything of yours before?
No.
Did you have any problem or issue with giving her a shovel?
No.
So what did you do upon her asking?
I walked around to the north side of my house to my shed and gave her the shovel.
She gave you an explanation as to why she wanted it.
Correct.
Did she give you any time frame of how long she would need it?
No.
Did she follow you to the shed?
Yes.
When you gave her the shovel, did you see where she went?
Her dad doesn't
Well,
own a
we both
shovel.
walked back out to the front, and then she walked in through the garage.
You saw her walking?
Yes, the garage door was open.
Okay. Did you see her walking into her home?
Only into the garage.
Only into the garage.
Wow.
From there, where did you go?
I finished blowing off the grass clippings in the front.
All right. And after you finished that, where did you go?
I blew off grass clippings in the rear.
All right.
And then...
During this time, while you were finishing cleaning up, did you see the defendant?
No.
Upon finishing your chore, what did you do?
I put my equipment away in my shed and then walked around the front to see, by chance, if Casey was finished.
Okay.
And I walked probably halfway across the property on the sidewalk, and you could see the garage was open, and then I just went back in the house.
When you went back inside your house, what did you do?
I told my son that Casey had borrowed a shovel, and I needed to take a shower. So if she knocked on the door, you could accept a shovel from her.
I take it you took a shower?
Yes.
When you got out of the shower, did you have the occasion to see Casey Anthony again?
No.
Okay. Did you get your shovel back?
I did.
How did that happen, if you know?
She had knocked on the door probably about an hour after I lent her the shovel.
And the shovel was returned to whom?
To me.
All right. You saw her?
Yes.
All right. Did you notice anything different about her?
No.
Was she wearing the same clothes?
I don't recall.
All right. And what did you do with the shovel after that?
Opened the interior garage door from my house and set it in the garage.
All right. Did you see the defendant leave that afternoon?
No.
Do you recall when she came to borrow the shovel initially, and when you saw her walking into the garage, did you see her white car?
The car was there.
Where was the car?
Backed in.
Backed in?
Yes.
Was it in the garage or in the driveway?
No, in the garage.
If only there were ring doorbells.
Happen
Yeah, I know.
during
I
that
was
week
thinking that
to
too.
see the defendant's car again?
One other time.
Okay. When was that?
It was either the 19th or the 20th. I can't recall.
All right. What do you recall happening on that day? First of all, Scott, what time are we talking about?
Early afternoon. Maybe.
So what date
between
was
noon and
this? Wait,
3.
hold on. What date is this now that they're talking about? Did you catch it?
Well, he was talking about the 18th with the shovel. I don't know if he moved on.
I think he just moved on. Hold on. Let me go back like 30
he
seconds.
said that he asked when he saw her car there again. He said the 19th and the 20th.
Oh, the 19th. Okay, that's what I missed. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Head now to the next time that you saw at least her car. This was a day or two after.
Correct.
At approximately what time? I'm sorry.
Between noon and 3.
Again, where were you when you saw it?
In the house on the couch.
Okay. Did you see the car pull into
He's
the
just
driveway?
always watching
The car backed in at that time.
Backed in.
Yes.
So
did
is
you see
this-
anything else?
No.
Did you see?
Is the 20th then? That's the day that we went over her pings.
Her pings were from the 16th. 16th, 17th, and 18th.
So now we're on the 19th and the 20th, and she was backed in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What date did they get the car? Did her parents get the car?
Oh, I can't remember.
I don't either. All right, let's keep listening. Should I fast forward him to cross?
I don't know. I'm kind of interested.
We only have like 10 more minutes left, and then he's crossed, so let's listen to him.
Yeah.
And it'll go by faster than that because it's on fast
Who
speed.
got out of the car?
No.
Do you know how long the car stayed there?
No.
Other than those 3 instances that you talked about during this time period in June of 2008, did you have any contact with the defendant?
No.
Did you have any contact with George Anthony that you recall?
On one occasion.
Okay. That was during this week?
No, not during the week. That was in July.
You were, I guess at some point, made aware by police presence at the home, the Anthony home?
Yes.
When that occurred, did you go outside?
No.
Did you ever speak to George Anthony about
No.
everything that was going on outside the house?
No.
Or Cindy Anthony?
No.
When you saw the defendant on June 18th of 2008, did she tell you that her daughter was missing?
No.
Kidnapped?
No.
That she was looking for her?
No.
That she needed any help?
Nope.
Did she tell you that anything was wrong with her daughter?
No.
Other than asking for the shovel, was there anything in her demeanor that suggested that she was upset?
No.
Angry?
Nope.
Sad?
Nope.
Depressed?
No.
Happy?
Just normal.
Just normal. Thank you. May I have a moment, Judge?
You might.
Was there ever a time that you saw the defendant's car, the white Pontiac, in the driveway or by the house with another car?
No.
Thanks, sir.
Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Good
Barrett.
afternoon.
Now, you first gave a statement to law enforcement on July 17th, 2008.
Correct.
Right. It was right when the media began, correct? When
Yes.
the media began giving it attention. Now, just to backtrack a little bit, you saw police cars next door on the 16th,
I believe, yeah, 16th.
and then the 17th, immediately, you spoke with law enforcement and gave your statement.
No, I think it was 2 days after.
Do you recall that you gave a statement on July 17th or not?
It was a Thursday. Was the day I gave my first statement.
If I showed you your statement, would that refresh your recollection as to
Yeah.
whether you did? May I approach the witness here?
No. Okay. I'm thinking of days and not dates.
Okay. Now does that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
That's the day you spoke with them.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you spoke with them, you told them that you didn't know the date that Casey had borrowed the shovel from you, but you knew it was more or less the week of the 16th. Is that correct? I'm sorry?
Correct.
Okay. And then you were called into the sheriff's department on July 30th. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you gave a second statement.
Yes.
You met with a Corporal Edwards.
Correct.
He's about 5'10", 5'11", white male, and very short buzz cut.
Sounds about right.
Maybe 200 pounds, 190, right around there. Okay. And you then spoke with them a little while, correct?
Correct.
And that's when you started giving them dates, right?
Yes.
And do you recall, and I don't know if you do or not, but do you recall if Corporal Edwards asked you to close your eyes and try and think and see if you can remember, because this was important?
Yes.
Okay, he asked you to do that.
Yeah.
And do you remember Corporal Edwards telling you that based on his experience, as time passes, you start to remember things?
Yes.
Would you agree with that statement?
To an extent.
Okay. Your memory is just like everybody else's. It gets worse with time, not better,
Yes.
right? Now, after you closed your eyes and had this thought process of speaking with Corporal Edwards, that's when the dates became clear.
No.
That's when you told them the dates, right?
No.
You told them on that occasion.
Correct.
Okay. And you're saying as time passed, you were able to think about it, reflect, and look into to the actual dates as to whether that assisted you or not.
Correct.
Now, when Casey borrowed the shovel from you, you were inside your house?
Outside.
Okay, you were outside.
Yes.
And you talked about her car being backed in or anything like that. And Mr. George asked you if you had ever seen her car backed in.
That was the
Do you
first
recall
occasion. You're right.
Okay. Now, you don't watch as Casey's neighbor, you don't watch the comings and goings of Casey Anthony, do you?
No.
Okay, so
I
you
hope
wouldn't make
not.
it a habit to, whenever she came home, to see how she parked her car or anything like that?
No.
You're just the average neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay. And you wouldn't consider yourself a nosy neighbor or anything like that, would you?
No.
Okay. So you don't know
So why did
how
he
Casey
notice on
parks her
those
car
days?
every day. You don't have a set.
Why did he notice on those
Sorry.
days? If he doesn't normally watch
And
doesn't normally notice when she's coming and going, how did he notice on those days?
Because I think he might have like creeped on Casey and he doesn't want to admit it.
And he doesn't want to say it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think. He sure
Right.
noticed a lot.
Yeah, he did.
And that's what I was just thinking. I was like, I'd like to see where his like windows are, because if he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I was on the couch. I think when he heard her car, he looked out the damn window.
Yep.
Blit.
Mm-hmm.
after she borrowed the shovel from you, this was in the middle of the day.
Correct.
In broad daylight.
Yes.
And when she gave you the shovel back, it wasn't muddy or anything like that.
No.
And she didn't look sweaty or anything like that, like she had just been digging a ditch or anything like that.
Not that I recall.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was...
Not that I recall.
Okay. Now, after she borrowed the shovel, you can't give us any information as to what she did when she went in her backyard, did you? Can you?
No.
So you don't know if she was trying to use that shovel to get into the shed?
Correct.
And are you aware as to whether the Anthonys have shovels of their own?
I am not aware.
Okay. So you've never seen whether they have 3 or 4 shovels or anything like that?
No.
And you can't offer any of us anything more than speculation as to what Casey did with the shovel?
Correct.
Okay. Have no further questions. Thank you, Mr. Burner.
Ooh, that was quick.
He's trying to make it seem like it's no big deal that she borrowed a shovel, but her daughter's gone missing. She happens to go
recall
borrow a
during that
shovel
interview
for
when
an
he was
hour.
asking you to close your eyes?
So she
Kind of
borrowed
a
it
big
for
deal.
an hour, but what was he talking about? Did she use it to get into their shed? Was there a route in front of
Was that then? Because they did break into the shed, didn't they, to get gas cans? No, that was before her car broke down. That was before she, yeah.
So I don't know. Like, were they claiming there was a root in the way of the shed and she had to dig it? I don't get it. I'm
Well, she did
really
bring them
confused right now.
And picture the times and the events surrounding seeing the car pulling into the driveway.
Yes.
Do you recall telling him that you saw a pickup truck?
I wasn't for sure of the vehicle.
Okay.
Damn, he is Nate.
What do you recall about
Malaga said that they've sent pictures.
That was the
I'm guessing
incident
at the
where
house.
The Monday when the gas cans.
They did what?
They've sent pictures. I don't know if she means of the house.
Who did?
Malaga.
Oh, I think of my cup.
Oh.
Were supposedly taken.
Yeah.
And I heard the voices.
I know.
And I just looked out the window and saw Casey and didn't think of nothing of it.
Now, was this the week of the 16th or was this the following?
The following week.
All right. You saw Ms. Anthony?
Yes.
Did you see anybody else?
There was a male, but I didn't recognize him.
Where did you see Ms. Anthony?
In the driveway.
Right. Did you see them at any other place other than the driveway?
No.
Did you hear them speaking?
Yes.
Could you hear the words that they were saying?
No.
But there was the defendant and a male.
Correct.
The instances that you told us about and that I asked you about and Mr. Baez asked you about the car backing into the driveway or into the garage, do you recall there being any other car in the driveway?
No.
Do you recall there being any other car in the garage?
No.
If we were to go outside of your home into your backyard, would we be able to see clearly into the Anthony's backyard?
No.
What is separating?
Privacy fence.
Is there any other tree cover or anything else that would block the view other than the fence?
No.
But the fence does block the view?
Yes.
When you heard the defendant's voice along with the male's voice, did you see those people leave? Did you see the defendant leave the house?
No.
Or drive away, I should say?
No.
Do you have any idea how long they were there?
No.
Did you hear any noises
No.
while you were there? While they were there, I should say.
No.
May I have one
No,
second, Judge?
no,
You may?
no.
I'm sorry, sir, if I was unclear. When we were talking about Ms. Anthony being there along with a male voice, was the white car there?
I didn't see the car.
You didn't see the car?
No.
All right. Did you see any car in the driveway?
Just the vehicle that I don't recall what it was.
But it was not the defendant's white car?
Correct.
Very good. Thank you.
Can you recross on those issues?
Mr. Burner, the incidents that we're talking about, you had no idea that you would have to later recall these things, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, when you started talking about them, it was over a month later after they occurred.
Correct.
And it's pretty hard to look back and recall everything a month prior, is it not?
Correct.
And no one told you on that day you should be looking for this car or that car or any car.
Correct.
Now, the photograph that we saw, was that of your garage and your living room?
Yes.
So if I were standing outside of your garage or right in front of your garage door, I would be looking direct? Straight?
Yes.
Okay. And the Anthony family home would be towards the right?
Correct.
Okay. And And that is your living room in front there, correct?
Correct.
And you can see the TV on there?
Yeah.
All right. And there's a window to, I presume, to the left?
To the right of this photo.
Oh, to the right. Okay. And to the left as well?
No.
Okay. And now the date, if I can have just a moment, Judge.
I am putting my cup up on the screen on YouTube. I love it.
Ooh, I can't
Now
wait
the
to see
date
it.
that
She made that fast.
you heard the male
Super
voice,
fast.
that was in the middle of the day, correct?
Early afternoon.
One?
Around 1.
Okay. And you didn't see the male?
No, I saw the male, but they were walking, so I saw Casey, and then I saw the male for a split second.
And any time that you saw cars, you never saw anyone driving them, did you?
No.
In fact, even when you saw Casey's car backing in, you don't know who was driving.
Correct.
And any time you saw Casey's car related to this case, you never saw who was driving, you just saw a car.
Correct.
This shovel was then turned into the FBI, was it not?
I believe so.
Thank you,
And-
Tracy.
On the 17th, after you made that statement to law enforcement, there were media trucks outside your home, were there not?
Yes.
How long were media trucks outside?
Months.
Months?
Yeah.
Fair to say for at least 6 months there were media trucks parked outside your home?
Excuse me. The state's going to object to the relevance beyond the scope of the redirect.
That's my last question on this topic.
What's the relevancy and scope of redirect?
It relates
Sustain.
to. It would relate to this witness's knowledge of the facts, Judge.
Sustain.
Now,
Objection.
You had stated to Mr. George that Casey seemed normal.
Correct.
What's normal, sir?
Just
Objection or against the scope of the redirect.
Scope of redirect?
I'll withdraw.
Okay, thank you. May the witness be excused.
All right, we're done with him.
Thank you, sir. You may be excused.
Okay, so your thoughts are maybe he was creeping on Casey, and is that you think what Jose proved?
Yeah, I think he definitely was. I mean, he said he didn't really speak to Casey or anything, but she seemed normal that day as well. So for him to be able to say that she seemed normal, he must have been watching her for a while.
Mm-hmm. I think he knew what her car sounded like.
Yeah.
Blit.
So he didn't notice when anyone else was coming and going from the house, just Casey.
And he was single too.
Ew. Creeper.
Creep town, dude.
Creep town, dude.
Okay, so after him, 56 minutes it says. Who is next? Who is next on our docket? Let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, it's this girl. Okay, hold on. Let's see who she is. I freaking love my cup, too. Thank you so much, Tracy.
Cup is amazing.
Isn't it cool?
Okay, state recognized the
Perfect.
presence of the jury and the defense. You may call your next witness, Mr. George.
Thank you, Judge. The state at this time will call Jamie Relander.
Jamie Relander.
She looks nervous.
Another redhead. I wonder if she's a shot girl.
Jamie, Jamie, Relander, Realander.
May I
You may
inquire, sir?
proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Ms. Relander, how old are you?
22.
Are you working?
Yes.
What do you do?
I work for a hotel in Indiana.
A hotel in where?
In Indiana.
Are you living in Indiana now?
No.
You're about to?
I'm moving on Monday.
Moving on Monday.
Mhm.
All right. Back in 2008, specifically May, June, and into July of 2008, did you live here in Central Florida?
Yes.
Were you going to school or were you working? What were you doing?
I was going to school and working.
Where were you going to school?
Valencia Community College.
And you said you were also working.
Yes.
Where were you working at that time?
I was working for Rosen Hotels and Resorts.
What were your duties there at Rosen?
I believe at that time I was working with the golf club at Shingle Creek.
Shingle Creek?
Yes.
Ma'am, directing your attention to, again, the end of May, beginning of June 2008, did you have the occasion to meet Casey Anthony?
Yes.
How did you first meet Casey Anthony?
I met her through a friend at Fusion Nightclub.
Oh,
Now,
Lord.
we've heard a little bit about Fusion. What is your understanding of Fusion Nightclub to be?
It was I believe, a sushi restaurant during the day, and then it opened up into a nightclub lounge at night.
When you met the defendant at Fusion, were you working at Fusion, or were
No.
you just a customer?
Just a customer.
How did you, do you know or do you remember who introduced you to Casey Anthony?
I believe it was my friend Jenna Prentice at the time.
I'm sorry, Jenna?
Prentice?
And who is Jenna Prentice?
She was just a friend at the time.
Was she an employee at Fusion?
Not at that time.
Do you have any idea how Jenna Prentice knew Casey Anthony?
No.
What do you recall, if anything, about first meeting Casey Anthony?
She was happy, seemed like a nice person to be friends with.
Okay. Now, was this in May of 2008?
Yes.
All right. Well, did you notice anything about her demeanor, anything about her at all that struck you as odd or out of place?
No.
Other than saying hello and being introduced, did you have any other type of conversation with her at that time?
No.
We have 111 viewers. Make a wish.
Now, at some point, were you employed by Fusion?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
As what?
Shot girl.
Oh, Lord.
I know it probably sounds
She
self-explanatory, but what does a shot girl do?
At that time, the bar would give you a bottle of mixed alcohol, and you would have to go around and ask people if they wanted a shot, and they would pay for it.
Did you have to pay for this alcohol?
Yes, at the end of the night.
So you paid for the
so it was,
liquor,
like,
it was mixed, and then you
contracted?
sold it.
Yes.
How would you make money? How would you make money doing this?
Say you sold it for $3 a shot. Whatever they charged us $40 for the bottle. Whatever you made above and beyond the $40 you kept, you gave $40 to the owner of the restaurant club.
And the rest would be yours?
Yes.
Could you sell more than one bottle of liquor a night?
I guess you could, but it was hard to sell one.
Did you participate as a shot girl at Fusion?
It was hard to sell
Did you
one.
participate as a shot girl at Fusion on more than one occasion?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Okay, so if they bought the bottle from the bar for $40 and then she could barely sell the bottle, how much was she making?
Oh my God, sorry.
Directing your attention
It's
to
okay.
June.
Oh shit, you pulled a J.
Damn it.
So she would have to pay them $40
Mm-hmm.
and then sell them for $3 a piece.
Mm-hmm. And then whatever they make on top, they get to keep.
Oh my God. So Casey was like their manager? I cannot.
Yeah.
20th of 2008.
She probably thought she was Heidi Fleiss and shit.
Were you working as a shot girl?
No.
She's like, I run the
How
shot
about
girls
on
here
June
at Fusion.
13th of 2008.
No.
Okay. How about June 27th of 2008?
Yes.
On June 27th of 2008, you went to Fusion and you worked as a shot girl.
Yes.
When you did that, did you see Casey Anthony?
Yes.
And what was your understanding, or what was your understanding of Ms. Anthony's role as it related to shot girls?
Through one of the other girls, I understood that she was the one we would go to for questions.
Questions such as?
Where to be stationed, where to go to get the information. Since this was the first night, if you had any questions, you would go to her.
Did you have any questions for her?
Not that I can recall.
Did you attend Fusion on June 20th of 2008, not as a shot girl?
Yes.
Do you recall a hot body contest?
Yes.
BQ.
Oh, wait for the objections. They're coming. She'd have to sell 14 shots to break even. Thank you for doing the math on that. Jerry, thank you.
Do you see a photograph on your monitor?
Yes.
Counsel.
She wasn't a good
Showing you
manager
what's
of shop
been
girls.
marked for identification as BQ, do you recognize
I wonder if she took part in the
yourself
hot body
in that photo?
contest to sell more shots.
You can take your finger and you can circle where you are.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, there she
Do
is.
you recognize Casey Anthony in that photo?
Yes.
Be careful driving, Malagator.
Without drawing, can you tell me what is she wearing?
A blue dress.
April C.
See where I'm circling there?
Yes.
Was you in the hot body contest?
You said that you were not working this night.
Correct.
Right, but you were present.
Yes.
Did you speak with Casey Anthony that night?
I'm sure I did.
Anything out of the ordinary that you recall from that?
I was really wasted. I
from
don't
those
remember.
conversations that preceded occurred?
No.
Based upon your prior testimony, you had not yet worked as a shop girl at this establishment. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is this picture a fair and accurate representation of what you look like on June 20th of 2008, as well as Casey Anthony?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Does the picture appear to be a true and accurate picture of what you and Casey Anthony looked like on June 20th of 2008?
Yes.
Okay. And you recognize that establishment to be the Fusion nightclub?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would ask to move what's been previously marked for identification as BQ into evidence states number 5.
Mr. Bias?
Yes, sir. We would renew our objections under 403, 803, and 404.5.
Noted in previous objections, objection will be overruled. It will be entered in evidence, and you may publish it.
Wonder where this girl is now.
Did you participate in this contest in any way?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
She wasn't in it either. Was Casey the only contestant?
Sounds like it.
Any of the times that
Her and that girl right there.
you saw
The one that she was grinding
the
with.
defendant at Fusion, did you ever notice anything about anything wrong with her demeanor? That she was upset?
Her dress is all
Or
wet
crying?
in the back. It's so
Or
gross.
sad?
Probably from
False for opinion.
peeing.
You don't even want to know.
Overruled.
Thank you, sir. Now, you
The
did work
blue
as a shop
power
girl at
dress.
Yes.
And would that be the following week after this?
Yes.
Did you have any discussions with Casey Anthony about your role as a shop girl?
Just where to. There were certain areas that we had to attend to, and that was just pretty much all that we discussed.
Were you instructed or were you talked to about what to wear?
I don't know if it was by Casey. I know that the girls in general
The
wore
sluttier,
the
the
same
better.
thing, and I was told through someone else what we were wearing.
The sluttier, the better.
And when you came to work as a shop girl on the next week, on the 27th of June, did Ms. Anthony more or less pass on what you were wearing? Did she?
Pass. Did she approve?
Overruled.
Approved of what
My
she was
God, Mr. George.
Yes.
Get
Did she
this
give
man
you
a
any
thesaurus.
tips on what to wear?
Not directly to me.
Okay. While you worked at Fusion, was there ever, as a shop girl, was there ever a problem that occurred while you were working?
Yes.
Can you tell us what happened?
One night there was a group, a large group of people, and somebody tried to grab one of the other shop girls and ended up scratching her stomach.
When that happened, was Ms. Anthony made aware of that?
Yes.
And what did she, if any, what did she do, if anything?
For our safety, she had us leave for the night.
That's nasty.
Did you ever talk to her about this issue?
Yes.
When did you speak with her?
We spoke to her on July 15th.
You say we. Was anybody else present?
Not with me. I know that there were 2 separate conversations.
But you spoke with her on July 15th.
Yes.
Was this conversation in person or over the phone?
Over the phone.
Prior to having this phone conversation with her, were you aware that she had a daughter?
No.
Did you know at that time on July 15th
Casey has
whether or
elf
not she was in a
ears.
relationship?
Yes.
She does.
Who was she in a relationship with, to your knowledge?
Anthony Lazaro.
When you spoke with her on July 15th, did you learn that she had a child?
Yes.
How did that come about?
We had a conversation about what she would be doing that day. She had to run some errands at her job at Universal. And then she said she had to go pick up Kaylee. And then that was when we established that she actually had a daughter.
Take a couple of things. Let's do first things first. She told you that she had to go to Universal.
Yes.
Prior to having this conversation with her on July 15th, were you aware that she purported to have a job at Universal?
No.
So this was the first time that you had learned that.
Mm-hmm.
You had learned that.
Yes.
Did she tell you what she did at Universal?
No.
And then she had to pick up her. She told you she had to pick up her daughter.
Yes.
Did she use her daughter by? Did she call her daughter by name?
No.
Did she tell you anything about her daughter?
Just that her birthday was the next month and that I was invited to her birthday party.
What?
So she invited you to her daughter's birthday party the next month.
Yes.
Oh my god.
The hell? Ew.
Did you ever see Casey Anthony outside of Fusion?
She never even met Kaylee.
No.
No.
And
Oh,
other
you
than
come to
this
her
one
party.
phone call on July 15th of 2008, did you have any other subsequent
At
phone
my
calls with her?
parents' house.
Not to my knowledge.
Did you ever receive a text message from the defendant?
Yes.
Do you remember when that was?
The one that I do remember was the day after that her mom had reported her to the cops, and it just asked for help looking for Kaylee.
But you don't know who actually sent that text?
I do not.
I have 1 second, Judge.
Why would you, wait a minute. What?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Cross-examination?
Okay, why? So was Casey just going through her phone, going through the motions, like texting everyone that she knew, saying, I need help finding Kaylee?
Yeah, group text kind of thing.
Yeah, because like this girl never even met Kaylee.
No.
But
I
she's
didn't really know Casey that well either.
right. And then summons her, I need help finding Kaylee. Like, what's this girl thinking? Like, I don't know where to look for your kid.
Yeah, I know. So, like, she wouldn't even know what she looked like or anything. She'd never met her.
Weird. Snow, good night. Snow's going to bed.
Oh, good night, Snow.
Thank you for the lights. I can't wait to get them up. All right, here's Jose coming in hot.
The photograph that you saw. Can we see DQ? Sorry, good afternoon.
Hi.
Ms. Relander, pronouncing it correct?
Yes.
Ms. Relander, this day at Fusions, was there anything that happened that had anything to do with Kaylee?
No.
No one saw her?
No.
No one mentioned her?
No.
There isn't anything that occurred from that night that has, as far as you can testify, to do with her death?
No.
Now, Mr. George had asked you about. Mr. George had asked you if Casey was happy, asking your opinion on that. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Asking if she was sad, and your opinion on that.
She was not sad.
Okay. And in fact, the Casey you knew was a nice person to you.
Yes.
She treated you with respect.
Yes.
She looked out for you and the other girls.
Yes.
And
She wants to smile.
was she considered?
Why is she smirking now? Have you noticed a difference in her from the prosecution to Jose?
Yeah, I think it's kind of how Jose's talking to her, though, because, like, he said good afternoon and stuff, and she smiled then, so she's probably just feeling more comfortable with him.
Mm-hmm. I think
Like,
he's
it's the
more
same-
engaging, right?
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing that the jury said. Like, he was more relatable. So I think she probably feels more comfortable now.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you so much.
Like a big sister to the girls or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, she likes Jose.
Explain that.
Mm-hmm. She always made sure that we were okay, that we were taken care of, and that we weren't in harm's way at all.
And that's because, as described by Mr. George in this incident, sometimes when people are drinking alcohol and they see a pretty girl, they may take liberties that they normally wouldn't do.
Yes.
And Casey was somewhat of a protector to prevent something like that from happening to you guys.
Yes.
Now, I'll actually withdraw that. You don't know anything that happened on June 16, 2008 as it relates to Kaylee, do you?
I do not.
And you have no information to help this jury decide or know what happened to her on June 16, 2008, do you?
I do not.
Or for any other date, for that matter?
No.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
I see what he's doing. He's making it where he wants the jury to just dismiss these people. Like, you weren't there when Kaylee, you had nothing to do with Kaylee. This is all about Kaylee, and he's wanting them to just disregard because, look, they don't matter because they weren't there.
Yeah.
But the birthday party thing is a bit bizarre.
It is, or she's like pretending, I don't know, like a fantasy land thing.
Well, she's
Like, that's
really
what she did. She pretended that she was still alive. So she's got to keep on playing that role. She's still alive.
Yeah, it's crazy that she was able to do that. Okay, we've got our next witness.
I also think it's crazy she actually spoke to her on the 15th. Like, that was the day that Cindy went and got her.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on, you know, with all these different people that she talked to and all these different stories.
Yeah.
My name is Erica Gonzalez. It's ERICAGONZALEZ. Building. ERICAGONZALEZ.
You may proceed, Mr. George.
Thank you very much, Judge. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon.
Ms. Gonzalez, how old are you?
I am 22.
Are you a little nervous?
Yes.
It's okay. Just go nice and slow. You'll get through it.
Oh, yeah.
Ms. Gonzalez, are you working?
Currently, no. I'm a full-time mom.
You're a full-time mom?
Yes.
When did you become a full-time mom?
In January.
Of this year?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell the jury a little bit about your education?
I graduated from Oviedo High School, and I'm currently enrolled at the University of Phoenix, pursuing education.
Were you living here in Central Florida back in the end of May, June, and into July of 2008?
Yes, sir.
Back then, what were you doing?
I was working at Fusion Nightclub.
What were you doing at Fusion?
I was a shop girl.
Was that the only employment that you had?
I believe so.
Is she the one that got scratched?
As a shop girl, and we've already heard a description of what you do as a shop girl. Was that a nightly occurrence, or was that just once a week, or how did that work?
It was once every Friday.
Once every Friday. Did you work as a shop girl at Fusion on every Friday in June of 2008?
I believe so.
So renewing our previous objections of 403, 803, and 404.5 for the record.
Okay. Objections noted. Objections overruled at this point. No problem.
During this time frame, directing you to June of 2008, while you were working as a shop girl, did you come into contact with a woman by the name of Casey Anthony?
I did.
Was this at Fusion?
It was.
Prior to meeting or seeing her at Fusion, did you know her beforehand?
I did not.
How did you meet Casey Anthony?
I met her actually through one of the girls that was working at the nightclub before I worked there.
Who would that be?
Jen Apprentice.
Her whole circle revolved around the
Do you have
bar.
any specific recollection of first meeting Casey Anthony?
Not really.
Okay. How about subsequent meetings? Did you have the opportunity to speak with her?
I did. We spoke while I was a shop girl. We spoke many times.
Do you know who Tony Lazaro is?
Yes.
Who is he?
He actually was her boyfriend. He worked at the club that we did.
Did you have an understanding as to what role, if any, Casey Anthony played in regards to the shop girls?
She was kind of like our manager.
You're a manager?
Yeah, she oversaw us, basically.
Okay. And by overseeing you, what does that mean?
Whenever we had a Friday night to go to, she would, we'd tell her what we were wearing, and if anything happened, she basically protected us.
Oh, my God.
I think this has been established by several prior witnesses already.
Response as to cumulative?
She really thinks she's important, like Heidi Fleiss.
Something new to the description.
Yeah, she must have worked there for a while, though, to be managing all these shop girls.
So, after a brief introduction, move on to something different, but this is beginning to be cumulative.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
She protected
Did
us.
Ms. Anthony ever tell you what to wear?
No.
Did she ever make suggestions on what you should wear?
No.
About the clothing.
Why does that even matter?
I know, I don't understand.
Did you ever
I'm
speak with
asking all
Casey
of them
Anthony
the same.
about things outside of Fusion? For instance, did she ever tell you that she had a job?
At Fusion, when we talked about going out, and she said that she had to get it squared away and make sure that she could go out with us.
That she had what?
To get it squared away, to make sure she could go out with us, like to dinner.
Okay. Did she tell you where she worked?
Islands of Adventure.
Did she tell you what she did at Islands of Adventure?
No.
From speaking with her, did you have an understanding or a belief as to where Casey Anthony was living during this time period?
No.
Do you know a woman by the name of Jamie Relander?
I do.
Was there, to your knowledge, ever an incident involving Ms. Relander that you brought to Ms. Anthony's attention?
I don't recall.
Were you aware that Casey Anthony had a child?
Yes.
How did you become aware of that?
We were in the bathroom at Fusion one day, and we were all taking pictures together, and she mentioned her daughter because of the way she took care of us at Fusion. I guess she kind of like made an example.
She made it.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I'm having real trouble hearing with
Wait, what?
She made it like she was taking care of us, and she explained that she had a daughter, and that was basically it.
Did she make a connection between taking care of you guys and taking care of her daughter?
Yes.
Did she tell you anything about her daughter?
No.
Did she, for instance, did she tell you how old she was?
No.
Did she tell you her name?
No.
Did she tell you where she was?
No.
Did she tell you she was missing?
No.
Did she tell you she was kidnapped?
No.
Did she tell you that she was actively looking for her daughter?
No.
Did she say or indicate in any way that there was anything wrong with her daughter?
No.
Did she at any time ever indicate to you that there was anything going on or wrong with her?
No.
Did you ever see anything in Ms. Anthony's behavior every night that you worked at Fusion that would lead you to believe that anything was wrong?
Absolutely not.
How would you describe her demeanor when you saw her to the jury?
She was normal. I mean, she was she was like us. You know, she had a great time. She was always happy. She always treated everyone with kindness.
Thank you very much.
Cross-examination?
May I have 1 second, Judge?
Just a second.
What? What is this guy doing?
Did you ever?
Checking
I'm
his
sorry.
notes.
Did you ever have a conversation with Ms. Anthony on the phone?
I did.
Do you recall when that was?
Not exactly when it was, no.
Do you recall what that conversation was about?
We were talking about meeting up to go to dinner with all the shot girls so we could talk about what had happened the week before.
Oh, our strategy with the shot girls.
Okay. What else did you talk about?
Basically, that she was going to call me back and let me know when she could come so we can meet up. And she never called back. She did say that she was heading to the airport to pick someone up.
I'm sorry. She said what?
She was heading to the airport to pick someone up.
Oh my God, this guy's a tool.
Did you say who?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Did there come a time when you learned that Casey Anthony's daughter was missing?
Yes.
When you heard that news, what did you do?
That I heard that night, actually, that the same night I talked to her. I texted her the next day telling her if she needed anything that I would be there and just to let me know. And I made flyers for my job.
Okay. And did you receive a response?
She did respond back saying thank you and that she was really worried about Kaylee.
So she found out
Did
the
she give you an
same night that she spoke to her.
last
So
time she
was
saw her?
She didn't say when
Casey
she
just
saw her
calling
last.
all of her friends on that 15th?
It sounds like it. All the shot
Yeah.
girls.
Seems kind of weird.
What day was the 15th? What day of the week? Do we know?
I don't know.
Because if they did their shot girl thing on Fridays, I'm just curious what day that was.
That she was with the nanny.
That she was with the nanny?
Yes.
See, and Casey could pull it all over on these young girls and these young guys. They weren't paying attention to her and what was going on in her life. At 22 years old, you are so self-absorbed, as you should be, in your own life and what's going on. And you just, you go out and you have fun with your friends, let loose. And that's what 22-year-olds do.
Yeah.
But can you picture, it just made me sick, picturing them in the bathroom doing selfies and her going, oh, yeah, I have a daughter. I take care of you like I take care of my daughter.
While her daughter's missing.
You guys are like you guys are like my daughter.
Yeah, that's gross.
Mm-hmm.
July 15th was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to have a dinner meeting over to talk about shot girlism.
Shot girlism?
I wonder if the shot girls did things after the bar closed together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lock-ins.
I mean, they work 1 day a week, and that's their only freaking job. And the one girl's like, "Oh, it's hard to sell one bottle. If you're barely breaking even on one bottle, like,
yes,
there's cash flow coming from somewhere."
Mm-hmm.
Cross-examination?
One second, Judge. I'm sorry. I'll let you know.
Are you serious right now?
I'm having a little trouble hearing, so I apologize. Either I'm missing
trouble
something or I'm
hearing.
thinking I'm
Dude,
hearing
why is
something
he?
I'm not.
Is he having like anxiety?
Going back,
something wrong.
Why is he?
Going back to the phone conversation with her. Did you have any understanding that there was anybody else in the car with her?
I don't recall, to be completely honest.
Do you recall what your phone number was at the time?
Yes.
May I have that?
Okay.
I'm sorry?
May I have that?
The number?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Oh, it's
What is he
321 439
He wants her digits.
577.
Oh my god.
He wants her digits.
Her face, she was like, "You want my number?"
She's like, yeah, I know it. Look at her. She's like, "Why do you want my number?"
Thank
dude?
you.
Mr. Byers, let's move on, folks. He's done.
Oh my god.
Good afternoon.
Casey's like, "I can't believe this is happening right now."
I just have a couple of quick questions for you. You stated that Casey was kind to you,
She was.
and she was nice to everyone.
Yes.
She treated everyone with respect
Yes.
and was courteous,
Yes.
and in fact looked out for all of you girls.
She did.
And she mentioned or gave an example about her daughter when you guys were talking in the bathroom.
Yes.
And did you ever see Casey drink or get drunk?
No.
Do you have anything that can help this jury understand, or actually, let me rephrase it. Do you have any information? Did you witness or see anything as to what may have happened to Kaylee that you can tell this jury?
Beyond the scope, no predicate's been laid.
Overruled.
Calls for a conclusion.
Overruled.
As far as anything.
How she died?
No.
I have no further questions.
Give me the witness be excused.
Yeah, he dismissed her.
Yeah. Again, he's like, she knows nothing.
Yep, she
Okay,
wasn't
they
there.
call the next witness.
Your Honor, may the state request a 5-minute break?
We want to take you a mid-afternoon recess. We can, but it's this a special recess, folks? For those who I'm talking about.
He zips up.
Zipping up.
The state recognized presence of the jury and does the defense. And members of the jury, have you heeded all my previous admonitions?
That's a small courtroom.
Okay, the
Holy
state
cow.
may call their next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state would call Anthony Lazaro.
It always seems like the courtroom is so big when you watch it on TV.
Yeah.
Anthony Lazaro, and THONY LAZZARO.
All right. Mr. Lazaro, kind of take your time and speak directly into that mic. And when you go back and forth, it causes a few problems. But just take your time, speak distinctly. Mr. George, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
You are Anthony Lazaro?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you go by Tony?
Anthony, Tony, don't matter to me.
Mr. Lazaro, how old are you?
I am 24.
Are you currently living in the state of Florida?
No.
Where do you live?
I live on Long Island.
In New York?
Yes.
All right. How long have you lived there?
All my life.
Was there a time that you lived here in Orlando?
Yes, when I went to Full Sail University.
And when did you attend Full Sail University?
From 2007, August of 2007 to August of 2009.
You mean Casey did the hot body
You've
contest
heard a little bit
sober?
about Full Sail. Did you graduate from Full Sail?
Yes, sir.
And what did you get your degree in?
Music business, bachelor's in music business.
Is that a BA?
That's a BSc.
BS. Are you currently working?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I work at Best Buy, and I'm interning at a record label.
When you were attending Full Sail here in Orlando, where were you living?
I lived at two different places.
Okay.
First,
Well, let's talk about where you were living in May, June, and July of 2008.
Sure. Sutton Place.
Do you recall the address there?
Not the exact numbers, but it was off of University Boulevard.
It was off of what?
University Boulevard.
All right. Do you recall when you moved into Sutton Place?
I believe it would be either the end
This
of
is her
August
boyfriend.
2007 or the beginning of September 2007.
When you moved into Sutton Place, with whom did you live?
What? Excuse me?
Who did you live with?
Cameron Campana.
And was it just the two of you there for a while?
Yes, sir.
Did there come a time while you were living at the Sutton Place apartments that you had other people living with you?
Yes. Two of my friends have lived off my couch, lived off my couch.
Who's that?
One was Clint, or Roy House, and Nathan Lesnowitz.
When they stayed with you, did they pay any rent or utilities?
No, it was just a friendly gesture because one, I believe, I can't recall why Clint stayed over. I think it was just some dispute with his other apartment, and I was just being a good friend and allowing him to stay on the couch, didn't know where to go. And Nate, we were planning on moving into a new apartment together, so it was basically like I was waiting for my lease to end.
And were you actively looking for places to live during this time period?
Yes.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Full Sail. Does Full Sail run their classes, I guess like any other college, where the semester starts in September and go to December? How does it work?
It's not like a semester at all. Literally, your semester is almost every month. You start new classes every month, and your schedule can either be consistent for a whole week or it can completely different change. And the school is open 24/7. Usually you're in class or lab at 4 hours of increments.
All right. So back in May, June, and going into July of 2008, what was your schedule at Full Sail?
I believe that it was not consistent. I would say that I would have a morning class from 9 to 1, and then maybe sometimes an evening lab or an evening class.
Okay. What would happen at an evening lab?
What would happen in an evening lab?
Yeah, what do you do?
You would do anything that would be pertaining to that month. I can't recall actually what that month was, but I could be in a music studio working on learning music equipment, recording equipment, or just learning the technology for being a musical engineer.
As part of your tuition, did you receive a computer?
Yes, I did.
What type of computer did you receive?
MacBook Pro.
As part of your education at Full Sail, did you take it upon yourself, or were you required to put on either shows or do some sort of events?
They wanted you to get involved with the other kids because potentially these would be other people that you could be doing work with in the music industry. So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, oh, you have to do this, but it was a good thing to do, and it was an experience.
Sounds like he got snowed into
During
some
the months
trade school.
of May, June, and July of 2008, did you take it upon yourself to try to set up either a small business or something along those lines?
Yes.
What did you do?
What did I do? I've had experience doing DJing, and where does that go? And me and Clint, I should say Roy House, decided we wanted to maybe start our own company, have a DJ company, do a little promotion for nightlife.
Did that have a name?
I can't remember that name. I think we came through a bunch of different names for the company, but eventually what we did was DBC Entertainment. What became of that?
Did DBC stand for anything?
It was, if you want to get more into that, the people that we brought on as promoters that supposedly they were from Deerfield Beach County, and that's basically what I believe, from what I can remember, that was what it's for.
Why is this
Now, when
relevant?
did you start actively working in this capacity as a DJ with Roy with DBC?
Well, with DBC or before? Because we were actually
All right, I'm sorry. Let's start with before.
We actually did start before. We went to
I'm not
Fusion.
surprised with this kind of questioning.
We were there for something else, I don't remember. But we met with the owner, and we
I'm skipping.
Do you recall how you got to the mall?
I believe it was in her car.
After having a late lunch at the Cheesecake Factory, did you return back to your apartment?
Yes, sir.
Did the defendant stay with you that night?
No, sir.
Did she and Kaylee leave?
Yes, sir.
Did Kaylee ever spend the night at your apartment?
No, sir.
After the defendant dropped you off at your apartment, was that the last time you saw Kaylee Anthony?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you mentioned before a hip-hop showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What day of the week are those usually held?
Well, it would be Friday, every Friday, because those are the nights that I was able to do. Or
And
have
you testify.
Fusion.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Those were the nights that we had Fusion, was Friday nights, Friday evenings.
So you were promoting this showcase
Yes,
for
sir.
the following Friday, or the next Friday.
Right.
All right. And did you go to Fusion on June 13th of 2008?
If that's what falls on a Friday, then yes.
And that was for your showcase?
Yes, sir.
Did the defendant attend that showcase?
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about how once you get to the venue, once you get to Fusion, we heard some testimony about some shot girls.
Yes.
Who hires the shot girls?
Who hired the shot girls?
Yeah.
It was a choice between myself, Clint, and the other two promoters that were working at the time.
And who would instruct the shot girls as to what their role was and what they should be doing?
It was basically almost everyone told them what to do. Ultimately, it came down to the owner really just giving them, because they would have obviously a bottle, if you're familiar with how shot girls work. So they would have to buy whatever the alcohol is, and then they'd have to hand it out themselves. It'd be their own, what's a better word? Responsible for what they had in their hands. I do recall a time when I said that to help, I guess Casey wanted to help out, and I allowed her to, not allow her, but she just wanted to help. So I was like, oh, well, you could tell the shot girls, help keep them in line or whatnot, what have you.
Did she ever express to you that they had any ideas on what the girls should be wearing?
I don't recall.
All right.
Why does
Now,
he
at the
keep
very beginning of this
asking about
conversation-
what the
they're
shot?
wearing.
Yeah, why does that matter? I mean, he's asked, like, did Casey tell them what to wear? What the hell is his obsession with their clothing?
I know, every single one of them, like,
Yeah, it's really weird.
relevance.
It's really weird. But I think Jose's just letting him, like,
Yeah, letting him talk, and then
Yeah.
Jose gets up there and he says, "Were you there on the night?" And they're like, "No."
right.
Okay, move
Because,
on.
like, if I'm the jury and I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, why is he asking these questions? And then Jose gets up and keeps it simple, like, hey, they weren't there. So you kind of just, like, put that out of your mind.
Yeah, it's true.
Because you got so much to think about when you're a juror, right? So he's kind of, like, simplifying it for them.
The one who makes sense is the one that they're going to pay attention to.
Yep. And this guy just ain't cutting it.
Don't worry about
He's
what number it
terrible.
is.
He
You can
really
tell us
is.
what number it is. Just offer it in evidence with your identification number.
Very good. At this time, Judge, may I publish it?
Okay, it will be received in evidence over objections. Madam Clerk, would you announce the exhibit number, please? You may proceed, Mr. George. You may publish it.
Thanks. All right. Was this showcase a success for you?
From what I remember, yeah.
Well, you had a few more coming up, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, after this showcase, did the defendant return to your apartment with you?
Yes.
Did she stay over with you that night?
Yes.
Was this the first time that she stayed over with you?
Hell
believe
no.
so, yes.
Come on.
Yes, definitely, yes.
Okay.
Definitely. So he set her up with a
Now,
little
did there come a
job.
time
Yeah,
after June
side job.
13th that the defendant began spending more time with you?
Yes, mid to late June, definitely, she would stay over.
All right. Was there a time during this time period, after your Fusion Hip Hop Showcase, where the defendant basically lived with you?
You could say that.
I can say that. Would you say that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did she come to spend every night with you?
Yes.
Directing your attention to June 16th of 2008, did you see the defendant that day?
Yes.
Approximately what time do you recall seeing her that day?
In the evening.
Was it early evening? Late evening?
Late evening.
Somewhere around there?
What's that?
Somewhere around, I'm sorry.
I would say anywhere after 6:30, 7 o'clock.
This guy in his hearing, man.
Do you recall going to a Blockbuster video?
Yes, sir.
Did you go to that Blockbuster with the defendant?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach with a stipulation?
You may.
Happy girl. I think he just thinks he's cool.
Then we stipulate.
Okay, y'all want me to read it into the record? You want me to read it into the record, Mr.?
Would you please, sir?
Stipulation between the state of Florida and the defense, Casey Marie Anthony. The copy of the video surveillance and still photographs taken from the video recorded at Blockbuster Video on June 16, 2008 at 19:54.26 hours are true and accurate representation of the business records of Blockbuster Video. The parties have agreed to this fact, and it should be considered as true in your deliberations. Stipulation will be filed here in open court with the clerk. You may proceed, Mr. George.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, at this time, and unless this was already done, we would move the DVD of the video into evidence.
What is the identification number, Mr. George?
I'm sorry.
Wow.
LE.
Based upon stipulation, is there any objections, any additional objections? Okay. Noting that and noting the stipulation as to what it purports, but noting the other grounds, it will be received in evidence as what, Madam Clerk? You may proceed, Mr. George. You wish to publish it?
Yes, I do, sir.
You may proceed.
Thank you.
Oh, the days of Blockbuster Video.
I used to love Blockbuster.
I know it.
It was the best on a Friday night.
Uh-huh. It really was.
It's not the same as looking through Netflix.
No, it really
Can you stop it
isn't.
there?
And you get there and like the new
Mr. Lazaro,
releases
just
would
on the
be
screen there.
gone. You know,
Yes.
dang it.
It's timestamp. Well, not
Come back in
timestamp,
2
but the
weeks.
marker on it is 20.0.
Okay.
Do you recognize yourself in that video?
Yep, that's the Marbury jersey.
I'm sorry?
That's my Stephon Marbury jersey. Yeah.
Oh my God,
And-
he is.
Stephon Marbury jersey. Who's a player for the Knicks?
Who gives a shit?
Sorry.
Oh
Just
my
say,
God.
yes, that's
what
me.
A cocky little, what a cocky little fucker.
Proceed, Mr. George.
Wow. Yeah, that's my jersey. He's like, excuse me, I can't even
Yeah,
hear
it's like,
as
what?
it is. And what
Say
did
it
you just say?
Proceed, Mr. George. You wish to publish it?
Yes, I do, sir.
You may proceed.
Thank you. No. Sorry.
Shot Girls Friday and Blockbuster. Now it's Netflix and chill. Totally
So
happy
true.
girl.
Can you stop it there?
Here we go.
Mr. Lazaro, do you see what's on the screen there?
Yes.
It's time-stamped, well, not time-stamped, but the marker on it is 20.0.
Okay.
Do you recognize yourself in that video?
Yep, that's the Marbury jersey.
I'm sorry?
That's my Stephon Marbury jersey. Yeah.
And
Stephon Marbury jersey.
Oh my God.
He was a player for the Knicks.
What?
Sorry. Yeah, that's big.
So you recognize yourself.
Yes, sir.
You have your arms around somebody. Who do you have your arms around?
Casey.
Casey Anthony.
Yes, sir.
And this is on June 16th of 2008.
Yes, sir.
All right. When you went to Blockbuster with her that night, how would you describe her demeanor?
The way she was every day.
Which
I don't
was?
like him.
Happy to see me, having a grand old time.
He's very full of himself.
On this date, at any time that you saw her that night, did she ever cry?
No.
Did she ever act scared?
Nope.
Did she ever act nervous?
No.
Did she tell you that her daughter had gone missing?
No.
Did she tell you anything about that there was something wrong with her?
No.
Or that something had happened to her?
No.
Was there any difference in this woman's attitude this night than it was for any other previous time that you had seen her?
No.
Did she stay over that night?
Yes, sir.
And from there on, did she stay with you?
Yes.
When she came over during this time period of June 16th, did she bring a suitcase?
I do not recall at that time.
Do you recall any of Kaylee's clothes being there?
No.
Any of Kaylee's toys?
No.
Stuffed animals?
Nope.
Books?
Maybe a book.
Okay. Any toiletries for Kaylee?
No.
On this night, do you recall her speaking with Kaylee on the phone?
Not that I recall.
Do you recall her speaking with her parents on the phone?
Like I said in previous statements, every time she ever would talk on the phone, she'd go outside. That's about it.
Well, this is while she was staying with you, correct?
Correct.
And we'll get to that. But on this particular night, do you recall her calling anybody
No, I do not recall.
while she was with you?
Yes, sir.
Be a fair statement that on this particular, by this date, by June 16th, this was still a rather new relationship?
Yes, sir.
Did you care for her? For Casey?
Yeah.
All right. And as far as
she
the
did good
relationship was
laundry.
going right then and there, was it going well?
Nice food.
Yes, sir.
Had you had any fights,
No.
disagreements?
No.
All good in the hood.
I'm sorry, she stayed the night that night, correct?
Yes, sir.
The following day, did you spend with her?
Yes, I did.
Did you go to classes?
No, I played hooky.
You played hooky?
Yes, sir.
Why'd you play
She's
hooky?
such a good influence.
Didn't feel like leaving bed.
Oh my God.
What?
Didn't feel like leaving my bed.
You'd rather spend your day with Casey?
Yes.
During this time period, did you, what was your phone number?
Cheapers.
Changed it so many times. I can't recall that one. It was an AT&T number.
Do you recall whether or not, just to go back for a second, back to the 16th, before you saw her at the Blockbuster, did you talk to her on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. Approximately, any idea how many times?
I can't recall how many times.
Do you know when you spoke with her in relation to when you saw her? Did you talk to her right before?
I would say right before.
During this day, before you went to Blockbuster, do you recall texting
Right.
her?
Not that I remember.
All right, so June 17th, you play hooky.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall what you guys did?
Stayed in my bedroom.
During that day, was there any change in the defendant's demeanor?
No.
Did she appear to be happy to be with you?
Yes.
Did she so relate that she was happy to be with you?
Yes.
Sure.
Did she give you any indication that there was anything wrong?
Nope.
Did she say anything about her daughter?
Not that I can remember.
Do you recall while you spent the entire day with her on June 17th that she
No.
attempted to call her daughter?
No.
Do you recall while you were with her on June 17th whether or not she ever called anybody in your presence?
Yeah, not in my presence.
I know when that hotline bling.
You spend the entire day and night with her on the 17th?
Yes, sir.
How about June 18th? Did you spend the day with her then?
I probably went to class.
Okay. When you went to class, what was your understanding about what the defendant was doing?
She'd either go to school, go see Kaylee, or whatever she would do. She's a free woman.
Did you say, I'm sorry, did you say she went to school?
Just free. What? She would go to work. She would, wherever she had to go.
Did she tell you where she had to go?
Chat rooms,
Not that I can remember.
Snapchats,
It was just a known
Instagram,
fact of where she would go. It's an
Facebook.
assumption.
Again, you were understanding she had a job.
I understand that she had a job, yes.
You had indicated earlier from your testimony that your lease was going to run out at the end of August.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Were you looking for another place to live?
Yes.
Directing your attention to June 19th, did you go looking for an apartment on that date?
Yes, sir.
Did you go with the defendant?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what apartment you went to look at?
Overruled at this point.
The place that I originally, where I potentially moved into, Crane's Landing.
Where is that in relation to where you were living at the time? Is it close?
Yes.
How close?
Around the block, basically.
And when you went to check out this apartment, who were you planning on living with?
Nathan Lesnowitz and my friend Brian.
When you went to check out this apartment, did you bring the defendant with you?
Yes.
Did you both look at the apartment?
No, I did.
How come she did?
I believe she didn't have identification on her.
Don't break my door, you fucking bitch.
During this time period, where was your understanding about the defendant's living arrangements? Where did she live?
She was living at home.
Did she, at this time, give you any indication that she was not going to be living at home?
Yes, she was always talking about her and Amy was going to get the Anthony's home because they were going to move out, or they were going to go get their own apartment.
Did she tell you during this time period when the Anthonys were supposedly moving out of their home?
I can't recall the exact time, but it was all relevant into that at that point.
It was what?
It was all relevant to that time frame.
You mentioned the word Amy. Who's this Amy that you're talking about?
Amy Huzenga, I believe, was one of her friends.
When you first heard this name, had you met this woman?
No.
So.
No, I'm sorry. No, I met her. She came the night I met Casey.
So the defendant was going to live with Amy?
Yes.
Either in the home or in another apartment?
Correct.
Again, during this time period, did she tell you about her home life? Did she say anything about her dad?
Not at that time.
Did she say anything about her relationship with her mother?
Not that I can recall at that point in time.
Okay. Right now, everything is just pretty good.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I poured myself a large glass of wine.
Right.
By the 18th of June, were you and the defendant sharing secrets?
Sharing secrets?
Well, I mean, were you sharing any of your secrets?
Not that I can remember.
All right. This was a new relationship.
Yes, sir.
Secrets?
All right. So June 19th, you look for an apartment. June 20th, this is, did you go to Fusion again that night?
Yes, sir.
Was this another hip-hop showcase?
Yes.
And again, this is something that you promoted?
Yes, sir.
Did the defendant go with you?
Yes, sir.
During this hip-hop showcase, did anything different happen than happened the last time?
Yes. 20th, there was a hot body contest that happened.
Was the hot body contest something that had been promoted beforehand?
Were you in the hot body contest?
I can't recall if it was promoted beforehand, but it definitely was, I want to say, maybe a last-minute decision.
All right. And
you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Are you playing with the soundboard?
Were there enough people to have a hot body contest?
More or less.
At some point, was the defendant asked to participate in that contest?
Yes.
Who asked her to participate?
I wasn't present for it. I was actually notified by her that said she was going to do it. And I was like, oh, I guess, okay. If you want to do it, you want to do it.
Oh, okay. Let's come.
Did you have any objections to that?
Take video.
Grandma just called and said you're supposed to go
Unfortunately
home.
stricken.
Asked the hearsay to be overruled.
Just testifying as to information he was given.
Sir, who gave you that information?
Casey did.
Okay. Objection overruled.
She told you she was going to participate in this contest.
Yes, sir.
Did you have any objection to her doing so?
I can't recall. I maybe hesitated for a second, but I said, hey, if you want to do it, you want to do it. So.
Let me have a little fun, would you
now,
please?
You were actually present for the contest, were you not?
Yes, sir.
Oh, he made sure he
so
got
did
there.
go back to it.
I don't know if we talked about this before, though. Since this is your showcase.
She wasn't going to do that
what
with
is
him
your
not
role?
there.
My whole role that I took was basically make sure that nothing got out of hand. That was basically it. I made sure that, no one was harassing the bartenders. Basically like head security, if you want to say, more or less, of the night.
Did you entertain?
No, I did not.
All right. I'm showing you what's been marked for identification B. Oh, actually, I'm not showing you anything.
Objection.
Yes, I looked at papers. Maybe they're hearsay papers. I don't know.
Do you have a picture on your screen, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you what's been marked for identification BR. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, sir.
All right. What is that a photograph of?
That is a photograph of the hot body contest going on.
I'm sorry?
The hot body contest going on.
Okay. Do you recognize Casey Anthony?
Yes, sir.
All right. What is she wearing?
A blue dress.
Is that the same dress that she came to the showcase in?
Yes.
All right. I know the picture's kind of cut off, but can you tell who's singing there?
That is Clint.
Clint House?
Roy House, yes.
And you were present while this was going on?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Does this appear to be a fair and accurate representation of the defendant participating in the contest on June 20th, 2008?
Yes,
Yes,
it
sir.
is. Jesus.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move this
What were
exhibit,
you wearing that night,
BR
Tony?
into evidence as the state's next
Did Casey tell you what to wear?
Yes, sir, we object. We renew our previous motions and objections at 403, 404,
Mr.
405,
Lazaro, were you wearing
803.
underwear that night? Mr. George.
Noting previous objections, will be overruled and received into evidence.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Your Honor, at this time, may I publish State's Exhibit Number 8?
You may publish it to the jury.
Thank you, sir. On this night, sir, did you notice any difference in Casey Anthony's demeanor as you had any other previous time that you'd spent with her?
Nope. No, sir.
That loud and beefy.
At any time during this night, did she ever tell you that her child was missing?
No, sir.
Had been kidnapped?
No, sir.
Was actively looking for her?
No, sir.
Asked you for help?
Nope.
Did she ever tell you during this night that she needed help?
Nope.
That something had happened to her?
Nope.
Sir, when you say no, no or yes? When you use the word no.
Oh, I mean no.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
No problem.
He's a smart-ass little...
Let me backtrack a little bit. You had said that you had a lot of different phone numbers.
Yes, sir.
During this time frame, did you have a phone number with a 631 in it?
Yes. I only had different phone numbers because of her media harassment.
Because of what?
Media harassment.
All right.
Why
up until
does
that
it,
time, you used
Yeah,
why
that was
doesn't
the
he
same.
ask for his digits?
Yeah. He didn't
Why
want
is it
his
just
full
the area
number.
code? Yeah, why is it just the area code and that girl, he doxed her number?
Yeah.
Weird.
I had one phone number at that time, yes.
And was that a 631 number?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you.
Wow.
All right. So was that hip-hop showcase a success?
Yes.
And the defendant came home with you?
Yes, sir.
Was
In the
there,
name of
directing your
Jesus,
attention
Father
to June
God,
23rd,
Lord.
was there a time during that particular date that the defendant notified you that she had run out of gas?
Yes, sir.
Approximately what time, if you recall, did she let you know this?
Mid-afternoon to late afternoon.
Were you in class or were you at home?
I was at home.
I'm sorry?
Home. I was at the apartment.
Had you been to class that morning?
Yes.
What do you recall her telling you when she called you?
That she ran out of gas and she needed to get picked up.
When she told you she ran out of gas, did she sound frantic?
No.
Scared?
No.
Worried?
No.
Angry?
No.
She just asked you for some help.
Yes, sir.
Did you have any problem giving her that help?
No.
What did you do?
I went to where she told me she was, and I picked her up.
All right. Where did she tell you she was?
That she was walking on, I can't remember the name of the road. It's the main road that is going south towards her house.
Done. How long did it take you to get there?
I can't recall how long.
Hey,
Whatever it would take me
Kelly.
from going from the apartment to that area.
Did you talk to her on the phone while you were going to meet her?
I would believe so. Yes.
When you picked her up, did she have, was she on the street?
Yes.
Did she have anything with her?
A backpack.
Was that a backpack that you had seen before?
I can't remember.
Was it Kaylee's?
After picking her up, where did you go?
She said she had gas at her house.
At her
We
house?
went to her house to get gas.
Had you ever been to her house before?
I don't think so. No.
Did she direct you on how to get there?
Yes.
When you got there, where did you park?
In the driveway.
You were driving your Jeep?
Yes, sir.
When you got there, were there any other cars in the driveway?
No.
Upon getting out of the car, where did you go?
To her backyard.
Did you ever go into the garage?
Yes.
Did you go to the garage before you went to the side of the house?
Yes.
How did you get into the garage?
She opened it.
How did she open it?
I believe she had a keypad or a garage opener. I can't remember.
When the garage door opened, were there any other cars in the garage?
No.
Did you go into the Anthony home?
If I went through the garage, I can't remember if there was a door to the backyard or if you had to go through the house to get to the backyard. Either way, we went to the backyard.
All right, I understand you went to the backyard. I'm asking you if you recall ever walking or being inside of the Anthony home.
No, I don't recall.
You went to the side of the house.
Yes.
Where did you go?
To a shed.
And when you got to the shed, what did you do?
We had to open up the shed because the shed, that's where the gas cans were. And there was a lock.
Did you use a key?
No, she said she didn't have a key, so we had to break the lock.
How did you break the lock?
With a tire iron from my truck.
Were you concerned about doing this at all?
Yes, I was.
What did you say?
I was like, "You sure you want me to break the lock?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's okay. It's my shed." So.
Did you suggest did you suggest to the defendant that maybe she could call her mom or dad?
Sustained. Rephrase the question.
Sure. Did you suggest any other alternatives other than breaking the lock on the shed?
No, I believed her word.
So you got a tire iron out of your car.
Yes, sir.
Were you the one that actually broke the lock?
Yes, sir.
How many gas cans did you take out of the shed?
2.
The gas cans that you took, did they have gas in them?
Yes.
And what did you do with those gas cans after taking them from the shed?
Grabbed the gas cans, put it in my truck, and then she directed me to where her car was.
When you got to where her car was, did you give her the gas cans?
We took them out, yes.
All right. Who put the gas into the car?
Casey did.
After she put the gas in the car, what did she do with the gas cans?
She put them in the trunk.
And again, what kind of car did she have at this time?
Pontiac.
White?
White.
All right. You saw her put the gas cans in the trunk?
Yes.
When she opened the trunk, could you see inside it?
No.
From there, where did you all go?
Back to my apartment.
Did the defendant express any concern with breaking into the shed?
No.
No, she didn't give a
When you
shit.
got back to the apartment, did her mood change at all?
No.
Was she okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You say yes or no?
Yes.
I do think it's weird he agreed to do that for her, though.
Did he agree to what? Break the lock?
Yes.
Break the lock, yeah. I mean, it's not like she couldn't get into the house. Like she said, it was her shed. So why can't you go find a key then?
Maybe she said that there wasn't one or something. Or she
And he
lost
just thought
it.
it's okay to just pop the lock open.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he's kind of strange. Like, when he was talking about the 17th, he said that they just stayed in bed all day. But she actually went home on the 17th as well.
She did? On the
Yeah,
17th?
She left his apartment and was home by 2:30.
Oh, that's that day.
Yeah. And he didn't say anything about her leaving. He just said, no, we just stayed in bed all day. And she didn't go back to his until after 8:23 p.m.
And that's when they went to Blockbuster.
Yeah, that's a long time.
But they stayed. He played hooky from work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he said that he didn't do anything all day. But he also didn't say that she left. I mean, she was gone from 2:30 until, 8:30 it would have been nearly. That's a long time.
It is a
But
long
he did
time.
not mention it.
I don't think the gas cans is weird, though. I think that she just didn't give a shit and she wanted gas and she knew her dad had gas in those.
Yeah, it's the fact that he did it though. Like he did that for her.
Yeah, he's
like
a
it's
cocky
criminal damage.
He's a cocky little son of a bitch, and because she said, "Yeah, go ahead and do it," he didn't care.
Yeah, he just did it.
Yeah, he didn't care. Neither one of them cared. Like Cheryl T said, they were perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Those two together. Oh my gosh, he's so cocky.
He really is. And he's not given the full story on the stand either.
I don't like that.
Something weird about him.
Someone said Casey's eyes are getting dodgy. Her eyes are always dodgy. She is dodgy.
She's just dodgy.
Roberta.
You had mentioned a few moments ago that about telephone calls.
Yes.
Do you recall having or witnessing or being present when the defendant took or answered a telephone call?
No.
What happened when she took a phone call?
She'd go outside.
Could you see her outside?
Okay, two things. The going outside could be because he had 4 freaking roommates that were playing video games. And they were like musicians and they were probably jamming the music, I would imagine. Yeah. I can't imagine their apartment was very quiet to talk on the phone. Especially if this chick is lying to her parents, to her mom, and saying like, oh, I'm at work. She's not going to answer the phone and be like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm at Tony's. We're hanging out. You know, she's going to go out in the hallway and play it off.
Yeah, go somewhere quiet. Yeah, makes sense.
But I'm not understanding the timeline as far as I can see why the jurors had a hard time, because I'm still unclear as to what the prosecution is really saying that she did.
Where they're going with it. Yeah, it's because it's hard to follow. Like, I forget what he's even saying.
Yeah, it is. It is hard to I agree. I agree. He's not engaging. And I know somebody said, I can't remember who it was earlier, they were like, it's terrible when we are worried about, you know, the charisma of the lawyers versus facts. But it's not just that. It's the way that lawyers bring the facts. You know, it's the way that they present them. And lawyers, their charisma is very important.
It is important. They're the ones who have to get the jury to pay attention and listen to them. If they're not engaging, then they're going to switch off.
It's a performance.
I've switched off so many times.
I have too with him, and so I don't. Hard. When Jose speaks, though, I'm sitting up straight and I'm listening.
The same here.
And you know what else he's not doing is he's not making these long, drawn out cross examinations.
Yes, so it's not confusing.
Nope. Because when the jurors look back on this, they're going to look at all this verbiage that this prosecutor's, you know, throwing out there that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And they have more, I think they're more likely to discard everything he's saying and just discard the whole shit and shaboodle that they're talking about.
Well, yeah, because he's fumbling as well. Like, it's like he doesn't have confidence in the things that he's asking. So then the jury are going to lose confidence in him as well.
And he's not really asking any pressing questions. Like,
no.
I mean, when he asked about the backpack, what did she have with her? A backpack. Yeah. Is it a backpack you'd ever seen before? No, I don't remember. And then he just let it go.
Yeah, he could have said, describe the backpack.
Yeah, what did it look like? I mean, did it look like, you know, a little girl's backpack?
Yeah. It's frustrating.
But Cheryl, this guy didn't give a damn if she was on the phone out in the hallway. I don't think he cared what she was doing. I mean, he definitely didn't want her in the hot body contest without him there, but she's a free woman, like he said. He didn't want to crawl up her ass because he didn't want her crawling up his.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, they hadn't been together for very long either.
Right. It was kind of like a fling.
Like a casual kind of thing.
Sometimes
right as well. They just keep
around
asking the same questions over and over again.
Oh, I know. What was she wearing? Did she make you wear that? It's like, what does it have to do with Casey or Kaylee?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
You could see from my apartment there was like a balcony, and you could see there was a retention pond back there, and then there was like a grassy area, and you could see sometimes her walking around out there.
Did you find it odd that she would leave the apartment every time she took a phone call?
Yes and no, but I didn't question it because I figured it was a private matter, maybe with her mom.
Why do you think it might have been a private matter with her mom?
Sometimes, because she would say sometimes she would have to go talk to her mother.
When she came back from these conversations, Was there ever a difference in or a change of mood?
No.
Did she ever give you any details about what they spoke about?
No, never got details.
In your presence, did the defendant ever say to you that I'm going to call the babysitter?
Yes.
And did she call the babysitter? Or did she dial a phone?
She would grab the phone, go outside. That's how she would go to dial phone numbers. So, who
you
knows
have
if she actually was on the phone or just speak? I don't know.
That was my next
From my
question.
recollection, she would go outside and use the phone. So.
All right. Did she ever tell you about any arguments that she had with her mom?
I don't remember anything specific.
Do you ever remember her mood drastically changing after she purportedly spoke with her mom?
No, not drastically. It would be what you would normally if you had any kind of altercation with your parents, but not a severe one.
Did she ever give you any details about what they were talking about?
Nor did I want to inquire. It wasn't my business.
He didn't care.
Do you ever recall her... Strike that. Did she give you any indication about what her home life was like?
It wasn't until later, right before New York, I went back to New York for vacation. She one time mentioned...
When did you go to New York?
June 30th to the 5th of July.
The conversations or the talks that you had, was that after you came back?
Yes.
All right. June, directing your attention to June 26th of 2008, did the defendant spend the day with you on that day?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall anything that you might have done that day?
Not anything specific.
Just hanging out at the apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes, sorry. Yes.
All right.
Bad habit.
Directing your attention to June 27th of 2008, was there another occasion in which the defendant called you to notify you that she had run out of gas?
Yes.
Approximately what time did that happen?
Midday, right before midday.
Did she tell you where she was?
Yes, she said that she was at an Amscot
Did she tell you where?
at the end of Goldenrod Road.
Were you familiar with that area?
Yes.
Did you know where to go?
Yes.
And did you go and pick up the defendant?
Yes, sir.
When you pulled into the Amscot parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever get out of the car?
No.
When you pulled into the Amscot parking lot, was the defendant in the car or outside of the car?
Outside of the car.
When she was outside of the car, did she have anything in her hand?
Bags, groceries.
Was that already in her hand, or did she go into the car and collect it?
No, it was already outside of the car.
I'm sorry, what did she have?
Groceries.
Just groceries. You don't have to itemize them for me. All right. When she got into the car, did she express any anger for having run out of gas again?
I said the car broke down, and I said, do you want me to look at it? And she said that, no, don't worry, my father will take care of it.
Okay. So she didn't tell you the car ran out of gas, she told you it broke down?
Yes.
All right. Are you mechanically inclined?
Well, no.
Do you know engines?
No. I do know some oil, I change oil, and I check gaskets and see if something's wrong, someone's overheating.
And that's what you offered to do?
Yes.
And what did the defendant say when you offered to help look at the car?
That her father would take care of it.
After you picked her up, did you go back to the apartment?
Yes, sir.
Did you drop off the groceries?
Yes, sir.
Later on, that day on the 27th, did you go to the Fashion Square Mall with the defendant?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach with another stipulation?
Yes, you may. You had a chance to examine the stipulation which bears your signature. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will read you the stipulation between the state and the defense. The copy of the video surveillance recorded at JCPenney's on June 27th, 2008 is a true and accurate representation of the business records of JCPenney. The parties have agreed to this fact, and it should be considered as true in your deliberations.
Thank you, Your Honor.
File the stipulation here in open court.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move what's been previously marked for identification LF, which is a CD or DVD of the JCPenney video, into evidence as the state's next in line.
What says the defense? As to the issue of relevancy, objection will be denied. It will be received in evidence. Mr. Bias, you got to turn the microphone on if you want to
Sorry
hear.
about that.
I know.
It's muffled down on the bottom of my papers. We also object to under 403, 404.5, and 803, Judge.
No to those objections. They will be overruled. It will be admitted in evidence. It states numbered.
And Your Honor, at this time, the state would ask to publish states number 9.
You may publish states number 9.
Let's stop there for a second. If I may. Sir, do you recognize yourself in that video?
Yes, sir.
Where are you?
I am the one. What? I can touch the screen?
I'm sorry, yes. You can take your fingers kind of like a telestrator.
Oh, cool. All right. There we go. Roll a circle there. That's where I am.
And how about Casey Anthony? She in next?
Hold there.
All right. Thanks. Okay. I take it you drove to the mall?
Yes, sir.
From this time that you picked up Casey Anthony from the Amscot, did you ever see that car again?
No.
Did you buy anything at the mall?
Did I personally?
No.
No, sir.
I'm sorry. Okay, this is June 27th. This is, did you go to Fusion again that night?
Yes, sir.
Did you have another showcase?
Yes, sir.
Did the defendant go with you?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. George.
Sir, I'm showing you what's been previously marked for identification, BI. Did you recognize that photograph?
Yes, sir.
What is that a picture of?
Myself and Casey Anthony.
Ew.
Looking at that photo.
Okay, are you there, Potato?
Yes.
Oh, man, I just got a phone call from my daughter.
Oh, did you?
Her pastor was shot and killed.
What?
Yes. Horrible.
Holy
in
shit.
Detroit. Yes. She just had lunch with her on Sunday. She's distraught. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm in shock. I'm in
Whoa.
shock. Yeah, they just so her and her girlfriends are involved in this church, and the past, she was like a 20-something-year-old girl that was running this church, and she just got a new building for it in Detroit, and I guess she had people over last night, and my daughter's hearing that it could have happened last night because no one she didn't respond to anyone today, so I have no idea what the circumstances are, but Yeah, I told my daughter, I'm
Oh
like,
my
you
God.
guys need to be together, like you and your friends.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I don't
that's
know
so
what to do.
sad.
I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh my God, it's horrible.
That's scary.
It
A young
is
girl as
scary. And you know
well.
what's really scary is that my daughter would, like goes down there and goes to this church. And I've always told her, I'm like, babe, you got to be really careful. And she wanted
That's
to get a
awful.
job down in downtown Detroit. And I was like, oh, dear God, every day, thinking about her being down there. And it's scary. So I don't know if they've caught the person. I'll definitely let you guys know. I'm like, is it in the news? She's like, I don't even know. So I'm going to, yeah. Ugh, just breaks my heart, Oh, man, it's always something. So many things going on,
It really is. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible. All right. Sorry, I just had to, I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
I missed a lot of that. It is shocking. She's like, Mom, I stood up and I felt like I wasn't even in my body. I'm like, that's shock.
Yeah.
Poor baby.
You tell the jury when that photograph or when you believe that photograph was taken.
July 27th.
Why do you believe that photograph was taken on June 27th?
From previously what I said with the tie. I used to wear a tie. I first started doing those nights, and then I kind of just stopped wearing one.
Actually, I'm going to go about 5 more minutes, you guys, and then get off here because she's calling her girlfriends, and then I told her to call me back. So
Yeah, I was gonna say if you want to end this now, then just
we'll do a few more minutes, and at a good point, I'll stop it, and then we will pick up. We got a lot done. I mean, I was ready to kind of call it quits anyways because we've been going 3 hours, and it's late where you're at. So yeah, Judy knows the area. Thank you, you guys. All right, let's keep this going until I find a good spot to stop. To stop. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Was this just a friend that was taking a picture, or was this somebody hired to take pictures?
Well, he wasn't getting paid. It is a friend, but he does do professional photography.
Are these pictures that are taken, or was this picture taken, or if you can tell us, at the beginning of the night or the end of the night?
I can't recall that.
All right. Is this a fair and accurate representation of what you and Casey Anthony looked like on June 27th?
Okay, prosecution's almost done.
Your Honor, at this time, the state will move what's been previously
I'll stop
marked for
when they're done.
identification BI into evidence as the state's next in line.
What says the defense?
Got the mic on. Same objection, Judge. Relevance 404.5, 403, 803.
Okay, noting objections will be overruled. It will be received in evidence as states numbered. Want to publish?
I would, sir.
You may publish.
Why does that guy remind me of Anthony Tote? I don't know why. The
On this night,
prosecutor does.
sir, was there any?
I think we're good though.
noticeable-
We're gonna stop here because I can't even focus.
I'll stop now.
Yeah, hang on. Let's bring us back up here for one final hurrah. Whoop whoop whoop! I got my glasses on my head. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. It is kind of long, daunting testimony, but thank you guys so much. If you guys could send up some prayers for all those kids that are going to be getting this news. It is really sad. She's like, she changed my life, Mom.
Oh no, that's.
I know.
Poor daughter. That's a lot.
Yeah, especially when it's someone who's like.
Yeah.
She's like, I told her my life story, and she wanted me to be part of the team at the church. Like she was becoming part of, what this girl was building. So it's really sad. You hate seeing your kids hurt like that because there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do to make them feel better, But get on the phone with them and talk them through it. So, thanks, Detective Potato.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. Get some sleep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, you guys. Thanks a lot. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow. Dance it out. Bye, Potato.
Bye.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care. I about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You wanna be